on Yoruba Gbode. Please, if you are joining us through Yoruba Gbode Radio around Philadelphia and New York, know that the only way you can ask questions or you can participate is if you are able to live with us on the Zoom. And the same thing with people on YouTube. Today is very, very special. Today is an amazing day. Today is a day that we will all live to remember, because guess what? It's a big turn. On Yoruba Gbode today is going to be the voice of our youth, our future, our youth, our legacy. I'm very, very happy to let you know that we are having special youth as guests on Yoruba Gbode. These are the youth that are worked so hard. They are accomplished. They have done extra. They've moved extra miles in whatever they are doing. I'm very, very happy and I'm very, very proud of them. Now, we will say we do this thing, we do that thing. We don't involve our youth. Sometimes we blame the youth that, oh, they're just doing their own thing. They are not worried about the future of Yoruba. But today, it is going to be different because we are going to hear from them. We are going to stop apportioning blames. We are going to hear what they want from us, and we're going to tell them how good they are doing and what more. Like we parents, we adults in the society, we are Oliver Twist that always want more. So we are going to tell them today is going to be a very, very good day. I'm very, very happy and I'm excited. Before I go to introduce our guests today, there are 4 of them. And if you hear them, they have accomplished so much. But before I introduce them, I am going to introduce to all of us the wise men. Please, people who are talking, you're going to force me to mute everybody. Okay, so I'm going to introduce our wise men. Yoruba Gbode, they have wise men. They are our pillars. We rely on them for wisdom. We rely on them for knowledge. And I'm telling you, they are very, very versatile. The first person that I'm going to introduce is Baba Banji Ayiloge. Baba Banji Ayiloge has been the Secretary General for Egbe Omo Yoruba in United States for many, many years. Baba Banji Ayiloge was in the forefront when we were talking about Nadeko and back to democracy in Nigeria. He fought for that. He was one of those who fought for that. Baba Banji Ayiloge spent so many years as journalist, and he was also one-time commissioner in Nigeria. Baba Banji Ayiloge, I'm very, very happy to welcome you to yet another edition of Yoruba Gbode, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You had Baba Banji Ayiloge speaking authentic or your Yoruba, even though it's a future Ijare president. So we're going to make today free language, free speech. If you want to speak English, we accommodate it. If you want to speak Yoruba, it's fine. The next person that I'm going to introduce is Baba Dipo Akinshiku. He was also a journalist for many, many years, both in Nigeria and in the United States. Baba Dipo Akinshiku, incidentally, was also secretary with Egbe Omo Yoruba for many, many years. He was also in the front during the Abacha Must Go. And he is one of the pillars of Yoruba Gbode. Alàgbà Dipo Akinshiku, you are welcome to yet another edition of Yoruba Gbode, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, the host. It's a pleasure to be here. And also, we appreciate, I personally appreciate what you have been doing regarding the process of educating and passing on information to our own people. And I also would like to welcome our youth, and I hope they will talk freely today, and also they will benefit and also try to encourage their fellow youth, those who are within their age bracket, to also become an active participant in the movement to get Yoruba self-determination. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I'm trying to bring in one of ours also who has been, she has a little problem getting in. So Dr. Onyi Jinadu is trying to get in. So I'm trying to make sure that he got the correct. Okay. So we are waiting for Baba Mathematics, Professor Adeniran Adeboye, and Mama Professor Mofolabo Ajayi Soyinka. Why we are waiting for them? This is the way we are going to do it. Yoruba people will say, "Ẹnu oníkàn láti gbọ́ pọ̀n." That is, the story is better with the victim. So we are going to, but today they are not victim anyway. So we are going to give our youths the opportunity to introduce themselves, and then they are going to tell us what they have been doing in their own private ways. So I'm going to mute everybody. If you want to talk, please just unmute yourself. We are doing this because some people, they just don't get it. They don't know when not to talk. Once they are on Yoruba Gbode, they keep talking. They keep doing other business. So, yes, I have the honor also to introduce Baba Adeniran Adeboye before I go to our guest. Baba Adeniran Adeboye. Your camera is not on, so we can't see you. But yet, still, I'm going to continue to talk about you. Baba Adeniran Adeboye, our able professor of mathematics for so many years. He has actually helped Yoruba to raise many, many children. Many, many children who became, all our doctors from here, all our lawyers. They have passed through him, or they have been helped by Baba Adeniran Adeboye for many, many years, more than over 50 years. Baba Adeniran Adeboye also had a position as the Ààrẹ Ẹgbẹ́ Ìṣọ̀kan Yorùbá, the national, the chapter that is in Washington, D.C. Baba Adeboye had done so much. He was also in the front line when we were talking about democracy in Nigeria. Not that alone. At present, he's doing so many programs online to make sure that our children are mathematically advanced all over the world. I'm very, very happy to introduce Professor Adeniran Adeboye, one of the wise men on Yoruba Gbode.
Hello.
Emma Sorolo Baba, we are hearing you.
Okay. I'm so happy to be here. I want to thank the hostess of Yoruba Gbode and all the other people supporting her for allowing us to share ideas about our land and people. I'm especially glad to be here because we are now going to be talking to the youth. We are not going to be here for forever.
Baba Adeboye, please kindly give me 1 second. They are going to make me have to mute everybody again because they are not complying. Okay, Baba, you can go ahead and.
So I'm very happy to be here because we are now in a position to interact with the youth, our future. So I'm glad I will meet them. I think I've met some of them before. I meet them again. And I'm also going to be nice. I'm going to be a good guy. So I'm not going to be attacking Alagbaba today, or I'm not going to be attacking anybody because it's a joy for us to be in front of you all to assess your feelings, to give what advice we can, and you are welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Baba. And then you're not going to give us any mathematics test today, right?
No.
Because I don't like that. If I can tell my story, I sought so much on mathematics and I never liked any of my mathematics teacher. You can't do things. You can't be a talker and also know mathematics. That's what I had. So I was never friend with my mathematics teacher when I was in the high school. But when I got to US about 30-something years ago, in United States, you have to do everything. You have to do, even if you are going to do the lowest mathematics. So I met this old man and, I just in quote, fell in love with him. I like the way he talked and everything. But one day when I heard that this man is a mathematics professor, I ran. I ran away, but he ended up to be, at the last, it was my solution to my college or Dibra when I was trying to go to college. And that is the man, standing in front of all of us. It could make it happen for anybody to do good in mathematics. When I told my brother back in Nigeria that I got a B in mathematics, my brother was like, did you cry for the professor to give you that? I said, no, it was because of this, our old man, Professor Adeniran Adeboye. We are always very happy to see you. Eshem sir. So I have the woman who is also the brain behind the wise men. Wherever there is a woman, there is joy, there is wisdom. Professor Ajayi Soyinka is the only woman among our, I saw him now. I'm trying to bring him back up. Mama Omofolabo. Okay, Mama Omofolabo is our yeye on Yoruba Gbode with wisdom. So I'm very, very happy that she's able to join us again today. She has always been with us. Professor Mofolabo Ajayi Soyinka, you are welcome to this special edition of Yoruba Gbode. Okay, it's not.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now I'm going to go to our guest. This is what we are going to do. I'm going to bring out the guests and I'm going to give each one of them two minutes to talk about themselves and what they have been doing. They must have been doing something great. That is why they fit in the profile of Yoruba Gbode guests, where we share wisdom. What we do on Yoruba Gbode is wisdom and knowledge. So they must have been doing something great to make them qualify. The first person that I'm going to call is right in front of me. Adebola Ige. I'm going to let you talk a little bit about yourself, your profession, everything in 2 minutes, and what you have been doing. Thank you.
Eshegoma, Mudeki, àwọn àgbààgbà tó wà ní orí afẹ́fẹ́ yìí. Eshego, Eshesa, Eshema. Thank you so much, ma. Thank you so much, ma, for giving us this platform. And Mudetu fit towo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn àgbààgbà, especially our wise men and our wise women. Tó tún wà lórí afẹ́fẹ́ yìí. Eshegon sa, Eshegon ma. My name is Adebola Ige. I currently reside here in Vancouver with my family, and currently I'm an IT security analyst. But I have strong passion for the youth. Especially in in fact, right from time that I was in university, I also attended University in Nigeria, and I was also involved in the student union administration and politics. And we are seeing how the leaders were actually doing, and we are so motivated to contribute to Nigeria. Even currently, where I reside here in Vancouver, I'm involved in various youth developmental activities, especially in the Yoruba Association here in British Columbia. And what we keep doing is about development. So, you do support, but platform especially with the coordination from the national program that we run here. Nimidun láti wá sórí afẹ́fẹ́ láti wá discuss kini way forward door, because the way the system is designed is not favoring us, and we know that there are things that we also need to do, but we are so happy for coming to this platform to come and express our desires and also learn from the elders. What do we need to do different? Because if we don't change our path in doing things, we will not get a different result. So we're also here to learn from the elders, to also let you know what we are thinking, what do we need to do. So Eshegon sa, we do láti wà lórí afẹ́fẹ́ yìí, and ma fàyè lẹ̀ fún àwọn yòókù. Eshema.
Adebola, I'm grateful. The next person that I am going to call is not actually a stranger to this platform, Yoruba Gbode. She has been our sole guest on Yoruba Gbode before. She's an activist, and my mere mentioning her name want people to look here and there to see, oh, where is she? And that is Rinu Oduala. She has been very, very active, especially when they were doing NSAS. She did so much. I'm very, very happy, Rinu, that you are able to join us today. I still want you to talk briefly about yourself, where you're coming from, and where you are right now.
Thank you very much, Eshegon. Ekalesao, abi ekasosa, ekasoma, ekaleni, bobitatin, join it to yi. Orúkọ mi ni Ọlọ́runrínú Oduala. mo láti ìlú Ìkòròdú, ìlú Báyékù ní Èkó. And bí host wa ṣe sọ, we participate in the movement, very which was a mainly youth movement, and so English it was right. And
yes, it's open mic. You can speak English. Only so Jebu gan to ba pe Jebu lo convenient fún ẹ. You can speak English, you can speak Jebu.
So but see, when we just see me pay I was really excited to come back on board, because meeting with Professor, in fact, before we chat see Baba Adeniran pé come ní àwọn maths there, because meeting with Professor of Mathematics and all of that, it's an honor and it's a pleasure. So thank you very much, sir and ma, for having me again. And for this program, ó ṣe kókó, ó ṣe pàtàkì, because àwọn ọ̀dọ́ ò kàn lè máa ṣe àwọn nǹkan nílùú kó má lè jẹ́ kí àwọn tó ti ní experience before kó guide wọn ní inú gbogbo everything tó bá ti fẹ́ ṣe. So these programs are very much important to me, and I'm just excited to be here, and I'm honored. So thank you very much. I'm looking forward to the program. Ẹ ṣé sir, Daddy Banji Ayiloge, everybody, thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Inú wa dùn, ara wa yá gágá, ṣe ti rí irú àwọn ògo tí Ọlọ́run fi kẹ́ ìran Yorùbá nù. Bá a bá rí nǹkan míì sọ, ẹ jẹ́ á sọ òótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀. Ní ọ̀gá nìkan láwùjọ òkúta, wọn ò rírú yọ̀lépẹ̀. Ọ̀gá nìrèké ń ṣe láwùjọ ìsún. Èmi ò rí àwọn mi ò rẹ́ńtà lè fi wé ọ̀dọ́ Yorùbá nínú gbogbo ìran tó wà ní àárín wa. Inú mi dùn, a rí wọn lónìí. Ẹni tí màá tún pè, gbogbo wa la mọ̀ bí ẹni mowó. Ó fẹ́ mọ̀ sí ọjọ́ ìsinmi kan tí a kì í rí lórí Yorùbá Gbòde. Alákíkanjú ọ̀dọ́ ni. Èmi a máa pè ní ọkọ àwọn Fúlàní tí wọ́n ń dáràn kiri. Torí bá a bá wádìí ẹ̀, if we try to find out and we can't find out what is going on, all we needed to do in the past is to just look for Diran Oladokun. Oladiran Oladokun is one of the youth leaders for Ibarapa, and we all know what is going on in Ibarapa, so it must be very, very important. Oladiran, the microphone is yours.
Thank you, ma. Mo kí yín, mommy, ẹ ṣé gan ma. Thank you so much. You know, I call you mommy. Ẹ ti di mommy mi. So, yeah. Mo dẹ̀ kẹ́yìn dádì mi náà. Dádì mi Bàbá Ayilóge, àti dádì mi Bàbá Adébóyè, àti gbogbo àwọn amòye orí ètò Yorùbá Gbòde. Ẹ̀yin lẹ́yìn là wá lọ́yẹ̀ o. That's the truth. Ojú wa ò tètè ṣí, but coming upon to this platform, ó là wá lọ́yẹ̀, ó jẹ́ kójúnú wa ṣí sí pé a wà nínú ewu. Ọjọ́ ọ̀la wa àtàwọn ọmọ wa ò dẹ̀ save tá bá continue by. Ọládòkun Ọládìran lórúkọ mi. Mo jẹ́ ọmọ bíbí ìlú Igangan in Ibarapa North Local Government. And mo jẹ́ ẹni tó pe àpérò kan tí a pè ní Igangan Development Advocate. Àpérò yìí jẹ́ ibi tá ti kóra wa jọ, àwa ọ̀dọ́ Igangan àti Ibarapa by extension, láti dìde fẹ̀hónú hàn lórí ìpànìyàn tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nílùú wa àti ní Ìbàràpá lápapọ̀. Ìfẹ̀hónúhàn yìí débi pé nígbà yẹn a ní láti shut down Secretariat Ọ̀yọ́ State. So a tún ṣe léyìí lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí lẹ́yìn ìgbà tí wọ́n kó àwọn ọ̀dọ́ mẹ́ta tó jẹ́ ọ̀dọ́ wa ní Ìbàràpá tí wọ́n jẹ́ member OPC, tí wọ́n mú Iskilu Wakili, tí wọ́n arrested, and ìgbà tí wọ́n arrested tán wọ́n fi àwọn èèyàn yìí sí prison. A dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo àwọn tó wà lórí ìkànnì yìí náà àwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan ṣì wà níbí tí wọ́n help wa tí wọ́n rise up láti support wa láti rí pé a jà fáwọn ọ̀dọ́ yẹn títí tó fi di pé wọ́n release wọn. So Igangan Development Advocate, I am the convener. By profession, I'm a biochemist. I did biochemistry at undergraduate level and also at a master's degree level at Obafemi Awolowo University. That's for my MSc. I have a PhD in the biochemistry, and I think advocacy for my hometown seems to have taken a higher priority in recent time because we were facing existential threat, and ours was no longer something we are reading in the news. It became a reality. We were living in the reality until we felt this is not acceptable. We need to rise up and speak with one voice as youth. And thank God that we have illumination from our fathers on this platform also. At the time we were rising up, the teachers were also there to guide us, to give us wisdom. And Yoruba Gbode happened to be, I will continue to say, one of the platforms that educated me, especially in the aspect of history, which has been taken off the school curriculum all over Nigeria. So the history of our people and what was actually ongoing, still ongoing, which before we just think, bóyá orí àwọn adarí wa kàn dorí kodò ní ẹ jẹ́ ká bá wọn jà. Àrègbó kọjá pé adarí dorí kodò àbí bóyá somebody like the president is suffering from senile dementia. It's more than that. It's more of a systemic annihilation and ethnic cleansing. And history, they want law into history láti guide wa and to make us to see this. And because of that, we were able to put our decisions aright and step out to stand and fight for our people. And we'll continue to do so because what we are doing is to save our unborn generation. I don't want to give birth to this hell called Nigeria. I can't, it's not possible. So, and I'm here. So I have to do something for the sake of my unborn children. So thank you very much, Ma, for this great platform. You have done a lot. God bless you, Ma.
Thank you so much, Oladiran Oladokun from Ibarapa. I'm going to call the next person, Dr. Oyinkansola Jinadu. Dr. Oyinkansola, what we have been doing is, I know you are really struggling with the link for one reason or the other, and I appreciate your patience. So what we are doing right now is we are trying to let all our guests, including you, to say something briefly in about 2 minutes about themselves, what they have been doing in the past. So I'm trying to unmute you. Please unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
Ẹ káàsán sà, ẹ káàsán mà, ẹ káàsán mọ́mì wa, ẹ ṣé gan ni mo dúpẹ́ gidigidi lọ́wọ́ yín fún ẹ má bínú mà, ṣé ń gbọ́ mi mà?
À ń gbọ́ dáadáa, ó lè sọ òyìnbó, kì í ṣe Yorùbá, òyìnbó gbogbo ẹ̀ là ń sọ.
Ó yé mi. Yes ma, mo dúpẹ́ gan lọ́wọ́ yín fún iyì àtẹ̀yẹ tẹ́ fi kún mi láti ẹ̀ ti pè mí wá sórí gbàgede Yorùbá Gbòde yìí. Inú mi dùn gidi gan. Orúkọ mi ni Dókítà Oyinkansinuola Jinadu. Ìlú Dallas, Texas ni mo wà. Ní iṣẹ́ tí èmi ń ṣe láàrin ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá ní Dallas àti ní National. Mo wà lórí National Exco àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá. Mo dẹ̀ wà lára àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá ní Dallas chapter náà. Pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ náà, lára iṣẹ́ tá à ń ṣe ni ìdásílẹ̀ Yorùbá Cultural Center tí èmi àti olórí wa Dr. Olúsànyà tí a fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ láti dá sílẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ó ti lọ bí ọdún kan sìn. Ìgbèrò wa láti dá Yorùbá Cultural Center yẹn sílẹ̀ ni pé kí èdè wa, àṣà wa kó má parun. Pẹ̀lú àwa tí a wà ní North America, especially in the diaspora, tá à ń bímọ síbi tá a dẹ̀ ń dàgbà síbí. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ọmọ wa ni wọn ò gbọ́ èdè Yorùbá tí wọn ò lè sọ. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ọmọ wa ni wọn ò dẹ̀ mọ history ibi tá a ti wá pẹ̀lú gbogbo nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀. Ilé náà ni èmi mọ̀ pé ilé ni àbọ̀sími oko, torí èmi jẹ́ nǹkan tó yẹ pé kò lè, bó tilẹ̀ wù kí n pẹ́ tó ní Amẹ́ríkà, mo sì fẹ́ padà lọ sílé nígbà kan àbí mi. Ó dẹ̀ máa dá pé ilé ta filẹ̀ ká tiẹ̀ lè rí ilé wọ̀ ká bá padà lọ sílé. So nǹkan tí ó ṣe máa ń mú mi láti máa ṣe gbogbo àwọn iṣẹ́ tí mò ń ṣe láàrin ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá láti rí pé àṣà wa ò parun, láti rí pé èdè wa ò parun pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ wa, then láti rí pé àwa náà à ń ṣe akitiyan láti fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ mọ́ gbogbo iṣẹ́ tí ẹ̀yin ìyá wa àti bàbá wa ń ṣe káàkiri àgbáyé tẹ́ ń jà fáwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá láti rí pé wọn ò mú wa lẹ́rú, wípé gbogbo nǹkan wa tí àwọn bàbá wa ti ṣiṣẹ́ fún kò parun nígbà ayé tiwa. So bẹ́ẹ̀mi ṣe ń gbèrò ní ìwọ̀nba ọ̀nà kékeré bó tilẹ̀ wù kó mọ́ láti lè contribute sí ìdàgbàsókè Yorùbá land all over the world nìyẹn. Ẹ ṣé gan ni sà. Well, iṣẹ́ tèmi ṣe, iṣẹ́ mi pọ̀ a lè sọ tán lẹ́nu, but lórí forum yìí mo dúpẹ́ gan lọ́wọ́ màmá wa tí wọ́n tiẹ̀ pè wá tó tiẹ̀ kà wá yẹ pé àwa ọ̀dọ́ pé ó yẹ ká gbóhùn wa, ó yẹ ká sọ̀rọ̀ sí ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà lẹ́yìn. Ẹ ṣé gan ni. Màá túbọ̀ máa sọ̀rọ̀ sí síwájú bá ṣe ń bá ètò náà lọ. Ẹ ṣé gan ni.
Okay. Thank you. Adúpẹ́ pẹ́ òkun. The next person that I'm going to call, even before this time, I've been willing to get hold of him so I can find out about breakfast for Boko Haram. What is breakfast for Boko Haram going to be? Is it? So his name is David Hundeyin. He's the smart writer of breakfast for Boko Haram that shook them. They know already that Yoruba youth are very, very smart and enlightened, but they were reminded once again when David Hundeyin wrote the breakfast for Boko Haram. We are very happy that you are among us today, and I would like you to introduce yourself and tell us briefly, what is this breakfast for Boko Haram before we go to other questions? You are welcome.
Castle, thanks for having me. Sorry, my Yoruba is not very fluent because I was raised. Don't worry,
speak English.
I was raised in urban Lagos, so my parents refused to speak language to me. So, my name is David Hundeyin. I'm from Badagry. I'm a journalist and a writer, and my most recent work, which the host was referring to, it was called Conflict for Jihad. So the full title of the article is Conflict for Jihad: The Boko Haram Origin Story. Now, the reasoning behind that story was that we've been talking about these so-called sponsors of Boko Haram for more than 10 years in Nigeria now, as if they're ghosts, as if they're people who they're abstractions. Meanwhile, these are real people. These are powerful people. These are known people. A few weeks ago, when retired Colonel Commodore Olawumi was on Channels TV, he made reference to some of them being in the National Assembly, some of them being in Aso Rock, some of them being state governors. But he said he wouldn't mention their names. So I decided, you know what, it's time for some names to be mentioned, because I think it has got to that point now where the battle line has been drawn. We weren't the ones who declared war. We weren't the ones who decided to draw a battle line, but the battle line has been drawn anyway. we didn't go looking for war. The war has come looking for us, because you essentially have a civilization of expansionists who are trying to recreate what was done in Sudan over the past decade. So I already had some information about this fellow called Yakubu Musa Kafanchan, also known as Yakubu Musa Katsina, who was one of the very first prominent terrorists to be arrested in Nigeria. I had access to the letter that was sent by the then Nigerian permanent representative to the UN, Ambassador Aminu Wali, where he was named. Some of his co-conspirators were also named. A certain Haruna Shahu was named. And then, very significantly, one of the wealthiest men in Nigeria at the time, Ahmed Idris Nasruddin, who was the founder of NASCO Group, which is the manufacturer of the popular NASCO biscuits, NASCO cornflakes, and the whole range of FMCG products at the time. And this fellow was named by the Nigerian government in this letter, which was sent to the UN Counterterrorism Committee in 2006 as a global sponsor and financer of terrorism. Now, in addition to this documentation from the Nigerian government, there was also documentation from the US Treasury Department, which was very, very detailed, as the Americans tend to be, extremely detailed, laid out which organizations exactly this Idris Nasruddin fellow had been using to launder money and to funnel funds to terror groups across the world. So he had links to Al-Qaeda, had links to the Hamas, had links to the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt, had links to an Algerian Islamist group called the GSPC. Now, when I was researching this story, this became a very important thing to me, because that GSPC group was named in the letter sent by the Nigerian government to the UN. And it was the letter stated that this Yakubu Musa Katsina used to recruit young boys in the north and send them for training in Algeria. And the group that he was coordinating with in Algeria was called GSPC. And that the other fellow, also named in letter, Haruna Shahu, was basically a money launderer, a bagman, who was funneling money to and from this Algerian terror group, GSPC. So to all intents and purposes, this letter named these two men as the modern day precursors or the modern day founders of what would later become Boko Haram, because these arrests were made in 2002, and at the time there wasn't any sort of organized Islamic terrorism problem in Nigeria yet. But these people were sending young northerners to go and train in Algeria and in Sudan and in Tunisia and in Afghanistan to basically learn how to handle firearms and explosives. And those people who did that training and came back became the initial fighting force of what became known as Boko Haram, starting from 2009. So essentially, these two men were the most immediate forefathers, ancestors of Islamic terror in Nigeria. What now made it more interesting was that these two men they've not been forgotten by history. They're actually still very powerful people in Nigeria today. So Yakubu Musa Kafanchan, also known as Yakubu Musa Katsina, is currently the chairman of the board of trustees of the Izala movement, which is either the most influential or the second most influential Islamic body in Nigeria, certainly in northern Nigeria. And this fellow isn't just that, he also hangs out with state governors in the north, he's close personal friends with Isa Pantami, and he's also good friends with the president, Muhammadu Buhari. And I was able to get multiple pictures of them together, including a picture inside the Federal Executive Council chamber in Aso Rock, and the president standing right next to this fellow who was arrested in 2002 for setting up terror cells in Kano and Katsina, and for setting up Taliban training camps across Nigeria, and funneling young northerners for training, for jihadi training in Algeria. You have the president, proudly standing next to this person inside the Federal Executive Council chamber. So these were some of the different elements of the story that I brought together to say that, look, this is just a little snapshot. This is not the full story anyway. There are several other names that even I don't know of. But this is just a snapshot of how high up this thing goes. So when we're talking about terrorism sponsors. And when you heard people like Commodore Olawumi making the statements that he made, these things are not myths. People didn't make these things up. These things are actually true. And here are names. Here is documented evidence. Some of it is was written by the Nigerian state itself, so they can't deny it. And these are their pictures. These are what they look like. This is where they live. These are the things that they do. Because I find that these people often, and it's not just these people, the Nigerian state in general loves to hide behind anonymity. So, people will make references to our leaders, our politicians. They're just those words are abstractions, right? I always find it more impactful to actually name names and to drill down, to put pictures, addresses, phone numbers. So if you are doing something that is hurting the public, costing people their lives, people should be able to know who you are and have access to you. I think that's an impactful form of journalism, even though not everybody agrees with me. So that was why I did the story. And very predictably, in the aftermath of the story, there was a lot of uproar and hullabaloo, especially in the north, because a lot of the people who weren't named in the story, but who obviously have their own skeletons in the closet, then got jittery. And maybe the next story, their name is going to be mentioned. So then, all sorts of attacks started coming in, and, from the usual suspects, and people calling me a bigot, hate Northerners, and blah, 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 digging up old tweets and all sorts of things. But it's to be expected because, I knew this was going to happen when I took on such a fight. But anyway, I hope I haven't gone on for too long. That was the reasoning behind the story. And I hope to, continue doing more important work like this.
Thank you so much, David. I know questions will be coming to you later on. But the first thing we are going to do is I'm going to give everybody, all our guests, I'm going to give them opportunity to ask questions from the wise men and the woman. The first person that I'm going to call, Rino Odwala, are you ready for a question?
Here's my picture.
Very much. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes.
Rino, you're the one asking the question.
Okay, you are the one asking question. We want to give you opportunity to ask 2 questions. Or do you want to?
You wanted to ask me a question, ma'am. No, that's fine. I have my questions on ground. So the question that one of the main questions to ma'am was coming recently regarding everything that's been happening in the country. Is we all know the terrain of authoritarian governance in the country and the fact that these people seemingly are not ready to do anything. Many say we operate a democracy in Nigeria, but then you and many of my parents in this room can always go against that we don't think that they actually, or a democracy actually exists in this country that we claim to be from. Now, what when we talk about IPOB movement, the Biafra movement, the Yoruba Nation movement.
You think this is a game?
Okay, I'm going to mute all of us a little bit and then unmute again. Okay.
All right, thank you, ma'am. So when we talk about the IPOB movement, the Oduduwa Now movement, Yoruba Nation movement, and all of that, what I see IPOB in the East, today I was arguing with some people online regarding the fact that IPOB plans not to embark on any elections. They have an oncoming elections, I think in Anambra State or so, and then they said they're not going to vote for anybody. Everybody's going to sit down at home. Now, what are the long-term goals of this move? What will this move bring about for not just the Southeast, but for the Southwest? What will? Sorry,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. So what are the long-term and short-term goals of this mob? And for Oduduwa Nation movement, or Oduduwa Yoruba Now movement, currently, the popular Yoruba activist Igbo is in Benin prison. Where are the leaders of the Yoruba Nation Now movement? If youths are to sort of put their energy, put their passion, put their hopes into asking for a referendum or seeking for a succession for the Southwest from Nigeria, or whatever is going on right now, what are the long-term goals? What are the short-term goals? Also, 2023 elections are coming up, and this is a vital question I've been wanting to ask, experienced people when it comes to, Nigerian democracy and all of that. Do we see any change forthcoming in that election? Would we encourage young people to actually vote in the oncoming election? And if so, who exactly do we want to ask young people to vote for? Because these are questions that get thrown at me during the course of me engaging with young people. At least I engage with an average of over 100 people per day online. And then these are questions that come at me, and at times, more than half of the time, I can't even answer them myself. So do we see any hope? Because then also, I'm also bothered about a particular issue, which is that many of you are, you experience Nigeria during so many phases, and for a very long time, that will be better. This country will be better one day, and that day is not coming. Even like us are growing old, and before you know it, some of our parents are asking us to get married, you give birth to children. Are we still going to be embarked on this? Are we still going to keep embarking on this? Nigeria will be better. What in the next 4-5 years, what are young people expected to do regarding?
Okay, it's frozen a little bit. Okay. So my people will say Akifari Lenyo Olori. So I wanted to ask our wise men to start to answer the question, but Renu is logged out. I think it's the network. So what I'm going to do, okay, Renu is here back, okay. Okay, so thank you so much. Now, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to, we all add the question. Baba Adenina, I'm going to start with you. Then I'll go to Baba Bandi Ayiloge. If he has anything to add to it.
Shengbomi.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Very good. First of all, I want to feel a little, I'm happy, very happy to meet all of these young people. And I think they are not, they may be young in years, they are not young in their commitment. Maybe I should remind people that as we are now, we talk so much about Awolowo, but Awolowo was only 42 years old in 1951 when he took the helms of government in our region and performed wonderfully over the next 8 years. So age becomes just a number. It's the wisdom and the commitment that he had and that I can witness in all of the young people who have talked that makes me proud. Also makes me diminished because but I think what I will add to it is my gray hair. Namely, I may know some things that were peculiar to a longer period, so I'm going to share them. Number one, the Yoruba say, Olójú ni kò ní jẹ́ kí wọ́n tìka bọ̀. That means it is the responsibility of every human to make sure that he does not lend himself or herself to abuse. Fundamental, that is fundamental, no matter what the issue, the broad issue is, no matter what the times are, no matter what the oppressor is, whatever the oppressed is, we only, the person, the individual, but Yoruba people are not one individual in the biological sense. Borrowing from Awolowo, Yoruba are a corporate person, one corporate person. As a corporate person, ó ti dolójú tí ò gbọdọ̀ jẹ́ kí wọ́n ti kábọ̀. So, how do you avoid kí wọ́n ti kábọ̀ ẹ lójú? Wàá gbójú ẹ sápá ọ̀tún, wàá gbójú ẹ sápá òsì, tí wọ́n bá ti ń gbé kábọ̀. Tàbí kó o tiẹ̀ mú nǹkan lọ́wọ́ tó fi máa gbá ọwọ́ ẹni tó fẹ́ ti kábọ̀ ẹ lójú. That's the way that I see the issue. The details pé kí ló wà ńbẹ̀ tí ò ti bẹ̀ kúrò, báwo la ṣe débi tá a dé yìí, and báwo la ṣe máa kúrò nínú wàhálà tó wà níwájú wa. I'm afraid young people, you may even know more than I do about this, but it's a long story dating back 500 years, 600 years, possibly more. The invasion of our land and people by foreign people with foreign agenda, starting from the Arab slave trade that accompanied Islamic evangelism in the 7th and 8th century and lasted long, all the way to the entry to where Atlantic slave trade, Trans-Saharan slave trade, Atlantic slave trade. We have been in trouble for a long time, but the trouble was encroaching. The manifestation of that trouble today can be referred to what was said in 1914, that the Fulani is from the Middle East. That's Frederick Lugard, the person who amalgamated Nigeria. That they are from the Middle East and they are closer to the European than the rest of us, and that they will be employed to govern the natives. That was a statement made by Frederick Lugard. And that statement was a 100-year follow-up of what Othman Dafodio said in 1804. So that, Furasi, but we have been under the gun by subterfuge, by all kinds of methodologies. We and the real Hausa, not the Fulani, we, everybody else outside of Fulani, were designated as people to be conquered and governed and what have you. And when they were leaving Nigeria, living with quotes, it was a transfer of authority and power from a foreign group, the Europeans, in our case, the British, to a foreign group, the Fulani, because the Fulani are not native to that part of the world. So when you have that to deal with, those people who are settled in the land, who have been there for ages, they have a lot more to lose. Those people who invade them can hit and run and hide and whatever, and that's what we have been dealing with. Today, unfortunately or fortunately or both, among our own people are people who do not understand the fundamentals of this problem. Or if they understand it, their own selfish interest trumps everything else. So they become collaborators. That's what the Yoruba say. So conceptually, my brothers and sisters, we have to go that far back to understand what we are confronting. Torí tá a bá analyze it dáadáa, a kàn máa mú nǹkan lórí lápá tó lápá sí without getting deeper. Now, I don't want us to be too deep and to be paralyzed by analysis, but we must have enough awareness to know what to do. Now, Talama Dibufun, when I was young, NCNC and AG used to fight each other. The Yoruba came up with an idea. What does that mean? You can't just go and campaign and support somebody for election or vote for somebody. What do you know about the person? It's not enough to catch a vote, if the vote will count at all. Finally, my brothers and sisters, so we need to engage in study. There is a lot more than meets the eye. We need to engage in study and continue the struggle in a meaningful way, so that I can't forecast what will happen in 2023. I don't know anybody who can. But what is the goal of the Yoruba corporate person now? The goal should be that Yoruba land, people, and essence are more than adequate for full, unadulterated autonomy. Do we want that? Is that the final? Is that the ultimate solution to our problem? If so, pursue it with vengeance. But if there is a methodology that says pursue it with a strategy that will still allow autonomy of an unchallengeable type within a federation that is possible, then so be it. If I've spoken too much, forgive me.
Thank you so much, Baba Adeniran Adeboye. I also want to take this opportunity to recognize one of our yeyes, Dr. Tokunbo Dosumu Awolowo. You are welcome. In fact, our first sorrow, the moment you started talking about how old Papa Awolowo was, that was exactly the time that she came in. So we are very happy that you are here, man. I'm going to call Baba Bandi Ayiloge, still on the question from Rino Odwala.
Yes, thank you, moderator. And Rino, I think I should apologize for not following up with what I said the last time you were here. I said I was going to interact with you, but I haven't been able to do that since. Otherwise, some of these questions would have been answered perhaps privately. However, I'm not going to repeat some of what's the cogent reasons or the very good answers that Professor Adeboye gave. I'm not going to repeat them, but I'm just going to give them. And that is to say that the youth built the country after the Europeans departed. I think in Ahoro, for instance, from the age of it was barely 19. By the time he was 24, he'd been to prison, colonial prison, more than 20 years. I mean, more than 20 times. These are vibrant youths who came out. You know, like Professor Adeboye said, was barely 42 years by the time he inherited the mantle of government in the Western region, in which case he's been in the trenches too, as a nationalist and all that. Very early in age. Same thing with people like Osadebe, people even Akintola himself and the rest of them. However, it's very saddening to also tell you that the youths actually destroy the country. By the time Gowon, Obasanjo, Akiniade, and the rest of them took over government, they were in their late 20s to early 30s. They didn't have any, they did not have any political experience. They just chased the people who started their career early. They chased them out of power, and they inherited them. They started doing it. Now, one of the saddest things that I will mention tonight is that it's not just those in the armed forces. Those who were in the intelligentsia even collaborated. They were writing papers. They didn't have any experience. For instance, I recall in those days some of them saying that we should jettison the Westminster type of government which we were running, which was handed over by the colonialists. And the Obasanjo people just took that and said, hey, we did not like the idea of having an institutionalized opposition, and they brought this presidential system of government, which they knew nothing about. But that is just to tell you that there is the youth should stop pointing fingers that the older generations are the ones destroying. No, even the people you are accusing today they took the reign of power of government as youths. They took the gun we purchased for them to protect us. They are turning against us. And that is the result you see today. Even when Muhammadu Buhari is going out there pursuing an ethnic agenda, I don't even think a politician would have done that. Those with political ambition, political background would not have done that. But that is aside. Now, your question is, 2023, what do we do? What is the next thing to do? No, what we are saying in Yoruba land, and you've also talked about the IPOP in the East and the rest of them. I'm less concerned with what IPOP is doing, whatever their own agenda, they've not consulted us. But within the Yoruba groups, there are two camps now. Those who say, oh, let's do restructuring. And those of us, I remember, I can also recall that you mentioned secession. We're not using the word secession. We are not saying secession is quite different from self-determination. When we say we want self-determination, we are not saying tomorrow we are going to declare that we are not part of Nigeria. No, there is a process to it. First of all, we want people, and this is where I want the youth to understand. We want people to understand that, right or wrongly, Yoruba people will be better off on their own without all this. The last time we were here, I pointed out that the Christian song, is what is very what we Yoruba should be even be singing now, and it's even better in Yoruba. That is, we are surrounded. When was there, we hardly had any Yoruba in government. Despite the fact that bringing him abroad, the Yoruba's pioneers had actually protested to bring him in. Buhari had run for office for more than 3 occasions and he lost until a Yoruba man, complimented his effort. Yet, look at what we are having. In which case, it doesn't matter who is your ally in Nigeria. The whole thing is the Yorubas are to be destroyed because of our advanced civilization. We used to We have a very good presence in the media. We no longer do. Even when Obasanjo was there, Obasanjo preferred to actually empower those from the East rather than Yorubas. We've started losing ground. Where are their industries? And we are saying that we need to be able to determine our future. There is nothing wrong with that. It's in the UN Charter. We are not saying tomorrow we've gathered ammunitions and we are going to declare that we are no longer. That is what secession is. I don't even want people, and I think it's important for Reno and the youth to understand it. The stage that we are in now is to let the people in Yoruba country know that we are equal to the task of governing ourselves. And I always make an example. If you go to Ikorodu today and say, look, this joblessness in Yoruba land will stop. And a Ekiti man or woman won't tell you, no, we don't want to create jobs. If you say the quality of education is really bad and you want to improve it, an Ekiti man will say, please, I've been thinking about that too. In which case, and I also want you to note this, since independence, we have always moved from one crisis of nationality to the other. We've never had a national crisis in Nigeria. What do I mean by that? The first coup in 1966, people said, well, it was an Igbo coup. The revenge coup was a Fulani coup. Even when Abiola was denied this thing, it was a Yoruba problem, not a national problem. Now, when you look at, even Boko Haram was another problem until they started shipping some of them, and now it becomes a fight for territory and also subjugation. Now, if, for instance, we have a country in Yoruba land, and this is what I mean by national crisis or crisis of nationality. If something like the bandits or what they call the terrorists, do you think an Ijebu man will oppose an Ekiti man or an Egba man if he says, let's strengthen the police so they can deal with bandits and protect commerce and life? No. They will say that. That is what a nation do, because you will think alike. You will approach the problems, the national problem will be approached as a nation. But Nigeria has never been able, it has never been able to approach any problem whatsoever as a nation. It has always been the Igbo problem, it has always been the Fulani problem, it has always been. So how do you want to spend, and now your question is, where do we go from now? Oh, Nigeria go better. It's not going to be better because people like us, I consider us as Western. At very early age, I was in the newspaper, I was in the media. I came here, came back. We've been shuttling from here to Nigeria, trying to improve things. And will you say that your best this thing has been realized, by staying abroad? No, you probably, like everybody trying to, or pulling your hair that you could have done better for your people. Some of us must understand that this fight is not about who goes there in 2023. In fact, let me tell you, even if a Yoruba man goes there in 2023, he will have been thoroughly compromised that he won't be effective for anything. We will just be there. And so, even those who are saying that they want the people advocating for restructuring, they said there will be no 2023 if the country is not restructured. Those of are saying it has to be Yoruba nation. Now, we are also saying the same thing. So let the youth get behind that, campaign about that, tell them, look, there is a correlation between these political problems and your joblessness and the lack of opportunity. There is a correlation. There is no doubt about it. In a Yoruba nation where we determine, our own fortune, you will be better off.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Mama Omofolabo, do you have something to say on that question? Or okay. Baba Kinshiku, Shoki, can you?
Well, they have spoken about what or addressed the questions raised. My own thing is basically to encourage you to continue and to approach it with more vigor, because basically in the 70s, the youth have participated, or at least trying to change Nigeria, or at least arouse awareness among Nigerians. I made reference particularly to 1979 when President Shehu Shagari was just sworn in. And there was this allegation that 2.8 billion was missing. And for some couple of weeks, people were quiet about it until the student youth, who were then between maybe in their late teens and early 20s, rose up, came to Lagos en masse. The university students chartered buses. I think I covered it at that time. And because of that, Shagari was forced to immediately empanel a tribunal to look into the allegation. So that is what is lacking now, that our youth in the universities are no longer interested in that kind of societal change and mobilization. So what our youth really need is mobilization. It is very important. They are the conscience of the society, especially university students. They are the conscience of the society. You cannot expect a 70-year-old man to be demonstrating. Non-violent demonstration, sustained demonstration could bring forth a change. We should not lose sight of that. As a matter of fact, even the one that Gbode was doing was the one that made them jittery. It was not violent compared to the iPod. They were going to town and sensitizing our people, educating them about what needs to be done. And people were beginning to understand. And that, of course, made the powers that be jittery. So because of that, I will continue to encourage the youth that the problem of Nigeria has to do with the elites, basically, who were actually monopolizing these powers and making the determination for their own self-interest, which of course is pauperizing the youth.
Thank you, sir.
What I would suggest is that the youth should not be discouraged. They should not let go, and they should encourage their peers also to join in the fight and in the mobilization.
Thank you.
Our self-determination.
Thank you, sir. Oladiran Oladokun, you have opportunity to ask 2 short questions. What would that question be?
I'm sorry, I'm not going to ask question. I want to speak to the issue on ground as regard the
now let me do this, Diran, let me do this. I'm going to come back to you. Let's finish all the questions so that somebody who have a question to ask will not, go home without the opportunity to ask that question. Dr. Oyinkansola Jinadu, you have opportunity to ask a question. What would that question be?
Good afternoon, ma. Good afternoon. Sorry, there's a little bit of noise around me. I'm running some mommy errands this afternoon. Let me quickly find a quiet spot so I can just quickly ask my first main question. Mommy, can you hear me, ma?
Everybody's hearing you, not me alone. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so my question to our mommies and our daddies, especially our wise grandfathers, is this. As a youth in the diaspora, a lot of my peers are very oblivious to the issues that we are discussing this afternoon. In fact, if you ask about 70% of them, they are unaware of the things that we're discussing as far as it concerns lineage, Yoruba, the government and all of these things. And then on the other side, apart from not being aware, they don't even see how it concerns them because they feel like, well, they've made it out of the country. They are here in the United States, in the UK, in other parts of the world, and they've managed to supposedly save themselves from the destruction or the self-sabotage, which is our great nation, Nigeria. How can we, as leaders within our own sect, we these youth leaders, what can we do to begin to raise their awareness and let them begin to see a better way as far as the urgency that is needed? Because if we say it doesn't concern us, reality of the matter is, no matter how far we travel, at some point, we still belong to Nigeria. And this is the point, and this is the argument that I state every time. If you say it doesn't concern you because you're comfortable, the reality of the matter is you don't know when next that trouble might land at your door. And then you would have to figure out a way to solve the problem. And that is what I keep telling our peers. So please, how can we as youth leaders who are actively working to not allow our culture to be diminished or to at least continue to let the flame of our Yoruba culture continue to stay aware, being involved in the fight with you, our fathers, at least in our own little way, staying aware of the things that are happening? How can we help our other people who seem to not only not know anything, but they don't care? Because it's a really difficult angle for us to operate in. That's really what I really want to know. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Baba Adeboye, that question goes to you, sir.
Okay. Thanks for the question, Dr. Oyikansola. I'm in the diaspora. I've been here 52 years. The youngest of my children is probably not young anymore. She's in her 40s. However, I'm going to be saying to you what I say to them, and they are extremely involved with me in seeking a solution to Yoruba problem, to the problem of the Black man in Nigeria, to the problem of the Black race on our planet. It's the same problem. It was in the early 16th century that Father Las Casas, a Catholic priest in Latin America, asked the Holy Roman Empire to approve the importation of slaves from West Africa to the Americas so that they can tame the land with cheap labor, or free labor. We have been victims of that ever since, locally and globally. So the person who is here from Nigeria, who sees himself or herself away from the problem, is not looking clearly enough. I've been here, I've been a number of things, but I'm still extremely Black. Not only in my thinking, but in the way that I'm perceived. So global Black problems affect me. It would be idiotic for me to say there is a Black problem anywhere, because it is not true. So what must we do about it? It's not an easy job. I don't want to pretend it is. But the youth leaders in these modern times need to collect themselves together and create youth organization for the purpose of mutual education. Yoruba Gbode is a piece of it, but it's not necessarily all of it. But there must be the kind of education that says we must emerge out of this mess. If you want an example, it's not that far to find, but we don't want to take 2,000 years to get there. The Jews were marginalized almost all over Europe and North Africa for at least 2,000 years. But they never stopped imagining a better day. It was one of them in the late 19th century that decided that they needed to have a land of their own, a country of their own. And I think his name was Ashkel. And everybody was afraid of him, including Jews. But eventually, by 1924, a Balfour Declaration in England was going to create a state for the Israeli people in Uganda, of all places, before they said, no, we want it in our ancestral homeland. I'm just saying this so that you can see there's always a job for all of us, young or old, but a longitudinal study of people who have suffered, who have been marginalized, who have been put upon. A longitudinal study shows that he's a Yokani. And so I want to invite you, and I don't have a whole lot of brain, but I want you to consider, sit together, have fresher brain and all of that stuff, and look at the problem globally, even if you are going to act locally.
Esheun Baba, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I'm not going to waste time. I'm going to, because I know that other people might want to ask questions. And I have questions for our guests too. So David Hundeyi, am I calling the name right? David? Hundeyi. Okay. So do you have any question for the wise men?
I don't know how wise we are.
David, I can unmute you. Okay. I'm going to go to Adebola. Adebola Ige, do you have any question?
Yes, ma. I do. Eshegoma. Ìbéèrè tí mo fẹ́ béèrè ni fún àwọn àgbààgbà wa ni pé fún àwa ọ̀dọ́ ìgbésẹ̀ wo ni ẹ rò pé ká gbé? Because most of us critically tá bá wo àwọn labels of our heroes past that did something significant to move Nigeria forward. They did it in their 30s and their 40s, like you said, sir. But things have also changed from now on. An average Nigerian youth has lots of challenges in terms of empowerment. That we are really lacking. Even education, a lot of amenities are missing that will even support us to start thinking in that line. So, sir, some even youth. I remember one time when the youth from LASU, from Lautech, when they came and they were not paying they were issues to the university. They came and they were saying that even though that there needs to be a revolution. That's what those youth said. And like we also know that we have been talking about different restructuring for many years. It's not happening. Now we are already on the path of we want self-determination, and we can even see many challenges that are happening in that regard. So what should we, the youth, when we wake up in the morning, we want something practical. Many people have told us, the youth, you should try, do this. We want something practical that we should really do to gain the attention of governance. What do we do practically that will make effect? Right now, there is no youth in Nigeria that we have seen that does not have some super connection somewhere that can even hold any public office. You have to be in APC or PDP. And then even the money for election itself was probably money that will even cover our school fees for 20 years. Where will we even get money for the election, SARS and MAS? So we cannot even join politics. Then what do? If we scream on the street, they will shoot us. If we can't join politics. If we talk, who will listen to us? So what do?
Okay, Baba Ayiloge, wọ́n ní kí ni káwọn ṣe, odò ọba kún, ọba rán ní iṣẹ́. What do? They are not equipped with anything to fight these challenges. So what is to be done by them? Baba Yiloge, okay.
After you muted me, then you
It's not Emma Binusa, it's those people tí wọ́n ṣe oríṣiríṣi ló jẹ́ kí n mute everybody.
This is the first thing. Stage that one in Yoruba nation. So
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Stage that one. First of all, àwọn bàbá tẹ̀ sọ àwọn tó jẹ́ pé ọ̀dọ́ ni wọ́n gbà tó bẹ̀rẹ̀. They understood the fundamental question of the time. And I'll give you an example. By the time I was 18 years old, the job nothing will pay 18 years old. I went to Akure High Court. Orúkọ òyìnbó tó fi ṣe baptismal name mi. I changed it. I because all document, all formal document bearing that they remain valid. Because in those days, growing up, the nationalists, even Awolowo was Jeremiah. Jeremiah throughout his political career, he has always been about Awolowo. In fact, I feel upset when somebody will start Jeremiah. Awolowo has never stood up at Jeremiah Awolowo. And then some of you now, you prefer more. You Baba Jeremiah Awolowo never said so. We were following those people. They knew what they were doing, and they understood the question of the day. Now, let me give you now another example. Just recently, among my own peers, a coach should revert back to a coach. Our Portuguese no pay Koni Lagos. I was fighting tooth and nail. He won't cause any Joseph no you you start from your own. If you are Joseph, and also so you need to understand the fundamental. That is why we come here every week to give you some of this perspective. The nationalists at that time understood. For instance, the first question today, 2013, Nigeria, that's a Nigeria, early on in Yoruba, standard 6, you could be anything. And you will compare favorably with anybody, or intelligence, anywhere in the world. When some of us got to the United States, they accepted the credentials as even superior to some of the ones some people like to be me. You can't say that anymore. This started going down the drain. Now, stage that I see is to educate yourself, equip yourself first with these histories. People, number one, recognize why is it today to head the security forces, to head the custom, even though the majority of the money comes from Lagos and the force in Lagos and all that. Why is it Attorney General, even your Supreme Court, and it's also Sharia, English. Why are things in such a flux? Then you will begin to understand what you will tell your peers. Because look, to be able to achieve this, we need to have the critical mass. Because there's only critical mass here, and let's educate what is going on. Allow you, or you see, Instagram, I use Toyota Corolla, Uber. No, you deserve more than that. The television in 1959 even charge you some areas in Europe. Kí ló wá dá wa dúró láti gbà yẹn? Kí ló fa àwọn ṣé ọlá wa ń lọ wájú ní àbúrò? And then mind you, television tá tiẹ̀ nígbà yẹn wọ́n ti gbà. Daily Times used to be one of the largest, companies in Nigeria. But many of you don't get Daily Times. It used to be the second largest English daily in West Africa, or not even not in Africa. The Nigeria Airways was vulcanized and pushed and sold in parts. Why is it that Nigeria better time 40 years ago? You see, those are the challenges. Then you will now find the answers, and the answers are what we are telling you today. Look, it wasn't used to be like this. As somebody was telling me, don't forget, Awolowo did that between 1952 and 1959. 1960, not gbé ìjọba lẹ̀. Àtijọ́ tó Awolowo ti gbé ìjọba lẹ̀, làwọn wọ̀nyí ti plot and nothing plot that he destroyed not only Awolowo but the whole of the West. By 1962, what you remember by 11. And then you continue to say, yeah, Nigeria, Imada. How? When? How many generations in Yoruba land have been destroyed? And in fact, these are the things that the youth were telling the youth, you must know. Then we have the critical mass, and then we will make our move. Declare Yoruba nation. You must know, the people need to know why it is necessary to go alone. I want to sort of 2023. They are not for you. They are not saying, mention anybody. Any vice president, you say, Joe, let me run back. No, the last census, 1973 census, 1909 census. Only Awolowo went to the convocation in the University of Ife to say this thing belongs in the dustbin. Make up father, see, 1963 census. And everybody said, how many valid that already the lady? Go so you pay, what you share away in your own, what you power in your own, what you also go on, you valid that melo, I've heard you passing comment, I've heard you contest. And these are the bunch of people you want to follow to 2023? No. As a matter of fact, this is the time to make a stand. Look, 2023 or no 2023, on that note, I'll wait for somebody else.
I just want to add a little thing to what Banji had just said. And I keep reverting back to what I said earlier on. It's mobilization. And we have to, the youth have to view the issue in country Yoruba and go through insane as an insult on our self-worth. And this is exactly what motivated the fighters for June 12th. We view it as an assault on our self-worth, that somebody would just woke up one morning and decided to annul the wishes of millions of people by annulling that election. We have to develop that. And we have to look at our youth, other countries all over the world, countries that have successfully fight for their freedom and fight for what they really want to do. Take the instance of Arab Spring, right? So it was just a man who had suffered a lot, who was selling oranges, and the military people, the armed forces, the corrupt people went there and tried to molest him. That started the whole thing. We have to get to that point, and nothing is easy. Our lead, one of our youth in Solek, well, demonstration is key. When you look at Europe, when you look at South America, the people have gone to the street to make their views known, that we are not going to take this anymore. And I listen to numerous videos saying, our Oba, where our Oba? Our Oba, we never move forward. It has never been the interest of the monarchy to change the status quo all over the world and from history. Just reflect on why did Europe, most of major European countries got rid of their monarchy? Because they have never been on the side of the people. So asking them or waiting or thinking that these people will move it, it's self-defeating because it's not going to happen. So now it rests on us to continue to fight for what we believe in, to continue to go out there and make our views known. And the youth must continue to organize and find a way to come together to press for their views, for their interest. That's all I'd like to say at this point. Hello?
I am going to take more questions from any of our guests or youth that is, in the general audience. If you are not a youth, don't tell me you are a youth too. I have it. So I'm going to take more questions from the from our guests, if any of them have any other question, before we start to bombard them with questions too. Okay, if there is no, okay, right now I'm going to give the Roladokun 2 minutes to say something that he had wanted to say.
Thank you, Shegoma. Once again, mo dúpẹ́ fún àǹfààní tẹ́ fún wa. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn bàbá wa tó ti ń ṣe tó ti ń là wá lóye látọjọ́ ìwá tó ti tún ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ lálẹ́ yìí náà. Ẹ ṣé gan, thank you so much. It's just that ó ní àwọn peculiar situations tí ọ̀dọ́ wà níbí. Inú mi dẹ̀ dùn pé dádì wa Akeshikun, if I get orúkọ wọn right, wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ nípa mass mobilization, which is very, very germane, very important fún wa at a time like this. And there are a lot of activities lined up. Tí mo gbà wípé this platform should be used to let our elders be aware of once again, and to remind them that we, the youth, we are not resting on our horse, and we are not asleep. We know the danger we are facing is an existential threat, and we are not just wishing it away, because we know it's not going to go away unless we act. But what is most important is that we need to act strategically. Personally, with the virtue of Ibitimotimbo, we came of the school of thought, pé a lè jáde sí street, ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní máa lẹ òkúta máwọn olóṣèlú wa, tá bá rí wọn, ká ṣe small molotov, ká lẹ̀ mọ́ wọn, ká padà sí wẹ̀tẹ́ days and all of that. But the fact remains that would be tantamount to just giving these people àwòdìwọ̀n tó fẹ́ rèwo in committing annihilation, complete annihilation of us all. Àwòdìwọ̀n ti fẹ́ rèwo yẹn tẹ́lẹ̀, we will just be, giving that àwòdì every right to go ahead and do that which they have always wanted to do. And an example of that is that recently they came and arrested, 2 people wọ́n arrest ní Igangan. Why? Because wọ́n ti mọ̀ yí pé most of our àwọn tó jẹ́ tó ń protect ìlú, especially the youth, you will want to take something, have something with you because you are protecting. If tobacco is any protection, definitely you want to carry something. So the only thing they need to do is to just slam you with illegal possession of that thing that you are possessing. And that's what they are using, that to indirectly get our youths, incarcerated, get them silenced. That's a clamp down on the youths so that they don't follow the pattern of Sunday Igboho, so that they discourage further rising of Sunday Igboho. Of course, that is not going to work. It's not going to work. I want to cross the border already. Want to Joe Bridge. So there is no crossing over the bridge again at Joe Bridge. But if they are actually doing that, it's ongoing. They are actually doing that. Then definitely they will do more of that to clamp down on us. So what can we do? One of the things that I have been an advocate of, among other things, I am engaged in several things, but among other things is that we need to start having what I call campus takeover. This is a kind of a program we can do that'll be like a normal conference down the historical line. We are not talking about secession. We are not talking about self-determination. What are we doing? We are de-brainwashing our youth that have been brainwashed. When Daddy wa Ayiloge tó máa ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa àwọn ọ̀dọ́, mo máa ń rí passion tó fi máa ń sọ nípa bí àwọn ọ̀dọ́ ṣe jẹ́ àwọn olójìjàgbara for the freedom of Nigeria, tí èjì àwọn bàbá wa Awólọ́wọ̀ tí ò tí ju around the range of 40 and stuff. So, but I want to say, sir, sorry, no, sir, that the condition, the system, the structure around that time is quite different from the structure now. Example, sir, let's go back to the campus in those days and go to the campus nowadays. Start from the hostels. Youth 13 breed. Go and start from the hostel. Let's take a stroll to Awo Hall in Obafemi Awolowo University and go to Fajuri Hall in Obafemi Awolowo University, then come back to UI and go to Sikh Hall and see the prison cells Yoruba youth are being hounded in. And we are asking those ones to be raised to become Awolowo, to become freedom fighters. They will come out of that prison cell just to look for the next fix. They will just look for the next fix. And then you now promote MC Oluomo. You promote people in that light and in that mode. You give them the wherewithal to occupy political and powerful echelon of the society. Then the next youth on the street is looking at him. I want to be MC Oluomo. That's what the next youth is thinking about. Knowing fully well that, like my brother said the other time, you can't even afford to get into the political environment without a strong backup. So what do you want to do than to just pass through the institution, get registered in the school, and graduate as MC Oluomo? And that is what we have. But if we start something that catch them young and catch them fresh, right from the campus, we have UI Conference Center there in Ibadan. Let's have a monthly or quarterly program. Let this not just be that we meet every Sunday and talk, which is good, which is enlightening, but let's take a proactive step and say, okay, even if it's fire zone, Baba Ayiloge is educating the youth this week. Next week is Baba Adeboye, and another week is another very wise man. And we are having that, on a regular basis. And because of time, another thing that is very important that I am very proud to be part of, and I am fanatically part of, is masses. And that is a call for Middle Belt and South Security Summit. Now we are talking about awareness and mobilization. Everything that call us together, that say everybody, we have a common enemy, that gets market women aware that, yeah, there's a threat that is ongoing. Something that wakes the peoples up from their subconscious slumber. We must embrace it. I recommend that we embrace it. And masses go beyond that, because what we are asking for is that we need to start, letting the youth know that we need to come together.
Thank
we
you.
need to take some compelling demands. But this time around, I'm rounding up now. It's not a protest on the streets. Masses is a call for a protest in a room. Because if we go on the streets, like my brother said, the next thing they will do is to plant. The last NSAS memorial, deliberately, we know they planted some ammunitions, and they said they retrieved them from those protesters. And then Kilokun, Black Maria, we know that is what they would do. And the structure is not in place to fight them as it was in those days. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Oladiran. Thank you so much for that.
And I have asked her a quick question before she leaves. I just want to know whether you have any kind of okay. I just want to know whether you have any kind, or your group has any kind of relationship with the student union leaders. Do you have any contact or relationship with them? Hello?
Since it's not there, I'll share you. I will share with
Oladiran.
I'll share with you some of the activities. As a matter of fact, just send something to me.
You have unmuted. Okay.
Okay.
You have muted me, ma.
Okay, now you can talk. Sorry about that.
Thank you. Yes, sir. We have we've been coordinating with student union, with youth groups and youth organizations too. In fact, I think one of the recent things we did through one of our mother, Mommy wa wọ́n lè má fẹ́ kí n dárúkọ àwọn lórí ètò yìí. Àwọn ará àwọn tí wọ́n ní ìtara fún ilẹ̀ Yorùbá náà ni wọ́n, was that àwọn youth yẹn and àwọn students yẹn all across pé ká jáde ní Independence Day, and we did that. Tẹ́ bá gbọ́ pé àwọn èèyàn lọ sí ààfin Aláàfin of Ọ̀yọ́, wọ́n lọ sí ààfin Olúbàdàn, mọ́mì yẹn àti group wọn ni wọ́n ṣe kòǹkárí ẹ̀, wọ́n kàn lè má fẹ́ kí n dárúkọ àwọn níbí. So láti diaspora náà ti kòǹkárí ẹ̀, and I was part of those that organized for that of Ọ̀yọ́ State, organized to the Aseyin's Palace, Ọba Ìsẹ́yìn, Aláàfin, Ṣọ̀ún of Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́, àti Olúbàdàn of Ìbàdàn. So those were the ones that I was involved in. So other people handle for other states. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that mobilization of youth and all of that hasn't been a problem, but the problem is that our youth are brain drained right from the institution, and they need to be brain free for them to really see this as a priority. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so and if I may just throw some light there, one of the things that Yoruba Gbode is planning is to have a forum where the youth will be educated, where we are going to have enlightenment for our youth at least once in a month. We are going to be having forum like that, and we are going to need you with the contact, with the rallying around our youth in Nigeria, so that we can have this forum with our wise men, our elders, at least once in a month, where all we are going to be doing is enlightenment and education. Thank you. I'm going to, if there is no other youth, okay, Queen B, please let's go to questions straight, because our time is fast spent. Unmute, please.
Hello, everybody.
Yes.
Yes, èmi kàn fẹ́ buttress nǹkan tí YouTube wa yẹn sọ pẹ̀lú answer tí àwọn dádì wa yẹn fún ọ̀tán sọ. Well, ní tèmi o, ní bí mo ṣe máa ń ronú bí Sunday Igboho ni. Ìmánìgá ká ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ kò ní dá. So pé kí ni káwọn ṣe, the guy was asking nǹkan tán lè ṣe. Ìmánìgá kan ṣe bó ṣe yẹ kó tó ṣe ń gbénú mi, like they said, wọ́n máa arrest wọn, máa lé wọn kiri. A ní kí kan pa gbogbo wọn ni, ṣùgbọ́n kò ṣeé ṣe. A máa strategically la máa ṣe. In the sense pé, you know, a good idea náà ni Ọládìran sọ, Adédìran sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan. I guess the best way to get into this would be going through the universities and, you know, coordinating and, you know, come and lecture around bó ṣe máa ṣe. Ẹ wo ìgbà tá a máa ní first Black America, ẹ wo ọmọ ọdún tí a ti wà lóko ẹrú ní America yìí. Obama, go and study Obama history, how he became the president and the president of the United States. Ẹ wo oko ẹrú tí dúdú láti wà ní àwọn popsi mi débi ní 70. I myself, I got here 85. Èmi náà ti bá wọn mọ síbi àwọn ọmọ mi náà ti engineer gbogbo wọ́n ṣe, you know, kò ṣe pé bí àwa fẹ́ wá máa rúùlù Nàìjíríà bí nǹkan kan. But èmi fẹ́ kí àwọn youth wa káwọn náà kàn kalẹ̀ empower wọn kí kan jẹ́ èèyàn kí ìlú yẹn dẹ̀ dá, because tí ìlú yẹn bá dá àwa yìí à ní síbí. Mom sí mi ṣì ń gbé níbí after 50 something years. Even though wọ́n wá lè anílé rẹpẹtẹ sí Nàìjíríà, anílé káàkiri ṣùgbọ́n kò tẹ́ni tó fẹ́ wá gbé bẹ̀yẹn. Ṣé ẹni tó ti wọ́n ní anílé sí Oǹdó kọ́ sí ìkọ́lé síbẹ̀, mọ́ sí ìkọ́lé síbẹ̀. Ṣé 30 rooms tí ó wà ní Oǹdó ṣé mo fẹ́ wá gbé bẹ̀ àbí kò sẹ́ni tó gbé bẹ̀ lára ti pa àti ní Lẹ́kì wà ń bẹ gbogbo ẹ̀. So kò yẹ pé àní kankan ní Nàìjíríà, but we can't even come, we can't enjoy it. So nǹkan tó jẹ́ káwa dìde ni pé ká lè gba ìlú wa padà lọ́wọ́ àwọn gbogbo olórí burúkú tó ń ba ìlú yẹn jẹ́. Àwọn ọmọ mi méjì ò tí wà lérí, wọn ò tí ì dé mẹ́rin rí, kò sí bọ́n ṣe kí wọ́n fẹ́ wá lọ ṣe. Ṣé ìkan ló ń bẹ wálé ní December? Mo ní don't try, ó mọ̀ pé kí ni mo sọ mi lè ṣàlàyé fún. So kí n má fọ̀rọ̀ gùn ni pé bá ṣe máa ṣe bí pé election tó ń fowó rà tó ń ṣe gbogbo kò ní sí yẹn mọ́ lágbára Ọlọ́run. Ẹni tó bá hùwà re wọ́ọ̀dù wo ló fẹ́ lò, nǹkan tó ṣe ló máa gbé ẹ dé position ibi tó ń lọ. So it's gonna be on your own merit. It's not gonna be pé ojúṣàájú kan. Gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ bá máa become in that nation. It's not gonna be owó kan lẹ máa fi ṣe, kò ní sí yẹn mọ́, ẹ má jáyà. Nàìjíríà ló ń lo owó tó dẹ̀ ń lo oògùn tó ń lo gbogbo agbára. Nítorí ẹ̀ ló ṣe yẹ pé ó yẹ ká pa gbogbo wọn ni bí wọ́n ṣe wà yẹn, because ó pẹ̀lú nǹkan tá gbogbo àwa wọ̀nyí àwọn ọmọ wa tá fi wà lóko ẹrú tàwa. Ṣùgbọ́n a lè ṣe yẹn. Systematically la máa fi wọlé, tá máa fi di ibi tá à ń lọ, tá máa fi dé bí irú bí standard America ni o, bí a ti Dubai ni o, ibi tá à ń lọ yẹn bá ṣe máa débẹ̀.
Ẹ ṣe mà, ẹ jẹ́ ká fún àwọn míì náà ní ẹ ṣe mo dúpẹ́. John Ojúọlá, mo ti rí ọwọ́ yín lókè, ó ti pẹ́ díẹ̀. Kí ni ìbéèrè yín? Ẹ dákun ẹ jẹ́ á ṣe pépèpé so that our guests can benefit from it, so all of us can benefit from it.
Ẹ ṣeun gan, mo kí ẹ̀yin gẹ́gẹ́ bí olóòtú, mo kí àwọn bàbá wa pátápátá, mo sì kí àwọn tẹ́ pè wá torí ìkànnì yìí pẹ̀lú gbogbo ìmọ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀ tẹ́ fi ń sọ̀rọ̀. Láti UK lèmi ti ń sọ̀rọ̀. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo àwọn tó ti sọ̀rọ̀. I have 2 questions, one for Oladiran Oladokun and one for the guy that exposed the root cause of Boko Haram in Nigeria. The first question Mr. Ladiron, I'm from your side. I came to your place 2008 to carry feasibility study in one of your villages. Maybe I should mention, ní oko tí mo lọ, mo gbé ọ̀kadà láti ìlú òyìnbó ni mo ti wá. Láti mo gbọ́ nípa àwọn Fúlàní ní 2018. Gbà tí mo dé oko yẹn, mo rí bí àwọn Fúlàní ṣe pọ̀ tó. Bóyá kí n sọ pé fún ẹ, Kóńkó ni wọ́n ń pè bẹ̀. Ibi tí Wákìlì ń gbé. On getting there, I couldn't go with the car. I have to take Okada. My mother was shouting, "Then you will go to that bush." I said, I will go there and carry my work and bring the report. On getting there, sir, mo rí pé àwọn Fúlàní tó wà níbẹ̀ ó ju àwọn tó wà ní ọjà yẹn lọ. Mo pè gbogbo wọn jọ. Mo ní ihun tẹ́ ń ṣe yìí yóò lẹ́yìn, mi ò tẹ́ mọ̀ kúrò àlà máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ báyìí. Ihun tẹ́ ń ṣe yìí, àwọn Fúlàní yìí ti pọ̀ jù yín lọ. Ọjọ́ tó bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú yín is going to be a wasting of life. I drawed everything. I gave it to one of Obas, and I came back. Now, the question that I want to ask you, you are elite, you are involved deeply in that particular region. I don't want to be mentioning you. I've been in your town since 1982, 83. I know very, very important people in Nigagon. My principal is Principal Omolewu. My principal. You can hear me
question.
Question tí mo fẹ́ béèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ ni pé, what are you people doing about the invasion of the soldiers that are now coming to Ayete? Because I monitor that place. And the second thing is, what are your political allies are doing to stop any carnage in that particular region? That is for Oladokun. The second question goes to my brother that exposed the Boko Haram originated. Now, I want to ask you questions, sir. What do you think, and how can we go to stop that carnage not to be rampage in Yoruba land? That is my question. Thank you.
Olóòtú mute wọn náà.
Ọládìran.
Ọládìran ò bá rẹ́dì kí ìhùntẹ́yìn bẹ̀rẹ̀ tiẹ̀. Iṣẹ́ ò bá pẹ́ ní àpẹẹrẹ.
Àìpẹ́ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ni bàbá.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, David, I still see that you are here, so but I can't hear you.
Listen, Oladiran ní kò mute.
Oladiran.
Yes, it's not. He said it's muted.
I tried to unmute you. Try to unmute yourself. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think. Thank you for the question, sir. And thank you for your adventurous journey to Konko area. It's also the area where Sheriki Saliu had his Ga Sheriki, is around Konko also. So Wakili is more towards Dagbere side. Yes, like you said, truly, the Fulani population was skyrocketing. And I think it was around 2018 that I personally wrote to the Oyo State government that we have reasons to believe that the forest that lined up in huge and massive amount till you cross over to Benin Republic is actually a hideout for Boros coming from other parts of Africa to enter easily using the northern Benin Forest route. And I also posit this with a larger platform, which is called Ibarapa Development Forum, also a platform of elites. And they took it up. We have very good and very progressive leaders in that platform. So, and they also acted on it. Now, you talk about raising this concern and telling the chieftains and all of that about the danger that it posits. One thing I want us to remember is the federal government and the power at the top, that these people have entrenched themselves in over the years. They didn't do the entrenchment just for jocular reasons. They did the entrenchment to ensure that whatever they want to do at the grassroots level become easily endorsed by those who they themselves have assigned as stooges and vassals, as puppets. And so what we have most of the time at grassroots level in our political arena are just people who have been handpicked by these so-called elites, Fulan elites, and who are just ready to dance to their tune. And don't forget that most of these people are on the payroll of the federal government belonging to this caliphate that we are talking about. So it won't amount to anything facing those ones and fighting them. You will just be wasting your sweat. I think the real enemy, we all know, is at the top. And the same thing applies to the issue of our security, our military. Sí wọn kó wá sí Ayétẹ̀. Mo fẹ́ fi dá yín lójú pé ọ̀nà Ìgàngàn náà gbà wọlé. Normally tó bá yẹ pé Ìbàdàn náà ti ń bọ̀, wọ́n máa dé Èrúwà, Ìgbọ̀rà, Tápà Ayétẹ̀ before Ìgàngàn. So, but ọ̀nà Òkè Ògùn náà gbà wọlé. So Ìgànná to Ìgàngàn ni wọ́n gbà. And for you to know how bí àwọn èèyàn wa, because I give credit to them a lot. Àwọn èèyàn ò sùn lọ́sàn-án àtàlẹ́, wọ́n ń ṣe shift. Àwọn ẹlòmíì ti paṣẹ́ tì, pa anything tì, just to protect our town. So mo gbóríyìn fún wọn gan. Ní òru táwọn sójà yẹn ń bọ̀, àwọn èèyàn ń ṣe shift lọ́wọ́ ní ojú títì, tí wọ́n dúró sójú títì. Àwọn yẹn ló kọ́kọ́ accost wọn pé stop there, where are you going? Despite the fact that they were military men in estimated about 6 to 10 hillocks, they stopped them. And to cut the long story short, they didn't allow them to stay in Ìgàngàn. So tí gbogbo nǹkan tí wọ́n ní pátápátá ni wọ́n fi sìn wọ́n dé odi ìlú. And one of the reasons tí wọ́n fi gbà kí wọ́n gbà rìn ìlú kọjá gan ojú wípé the local government, once again, the local government chairman said he's aware that they are coming. He has a memo to that effect. So it will be illegal for us to say that, no. So the local government chairman himself, ló mú wọn lọ. Ibo ni wọ́n wà presently? Ẹ̀bí inú local government secretariat ni wọ́n camp sí. It will be illegal for us to go and say, local government chairman lóun gbàlejò. Àwa ọ̀dọ́ sọ pé ó ṣe máa gbàlejò Nigeria military. So àmọ́ láwọn ohun tá a lè máa sá gbogbo aṣọ lóòrùn ní nǹkan táwọn èèyàn lè ṣe, ó kù sọ́wọ́ àwọn èèyàn kí wọ́n lọ ṣe. But a lè ṣe nǹkan tó wà illegal. So nǹkan tí mo máa sọ lórí ẹ̀ nìyẹn.
Ẹ ṣeun, kódà ẹ ṣeun. I'm not able to, I tried to unmute Hundeyin. David. Hundeyin. Oh, okay. I try to. Okay. There is admin spad. Who is this? You are here, sir. You are on. Your microphone is live. You can talk.
Stop.
All right, this is Anyankola Wale.
Go ahead,
okay.
Sir.
Yes, Ekushelu. I've been listening to all this conversation and it's a very good thing. Mo sorry pé mo join another forum that ní interaction pẹ̀lú Baba Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́ láti 12 kan bí around 3:30 la tó ṣe kúrò mẹ́yìn. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn youth wa tí wọ́n interaction pẹ̀lú wa lọ́sàn-án yìí. Gbogbo nǹkan tá à ń sọ yìí ó dáa. We all know the problem we have. My observation pẹ̀lú wa ni pé we talk too much. And we just talk over and over and over. Now it's time for us to get to the action plan. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí Oladokun ṣe sọ, she really said a lot of things. We cannot continue advising all these youth, hello, take action, hello, shaking it down, without ours having the resources in place for them. There has to be something. These youths are powerless, helpless, no jobs, nothing. And we encourage them, oh, go and get yourself organized. How are they going to do that? Our leaders are something. We need to have our own plan too. What do we have for them? How do they organize? How can we support them? And the there are a lot of things. For instance, right now, it can be about 15 years ago, the rate all those criminals, all those even our agencies, the protection agencies or legal agencies, to commit atrocity. Why? Because of the introduction of a technology. Every one of us to ban the phone, one saying we have something that they record, that post, and I think that it is very effective right now. When you post some of these atrocities, and the government will react because one fair marry. But in a situation like this, if we want our youth to employ one of these status, what can we do to provide that resource? It is time for us to start thinking outside the box. The youth, they are trying, but they are helpless. Our situation to one country where right now, anything. And we still expect these kids to go out and do the necessary things. It is time for us to change the narrative of our, the way to tackle some of these problems. Thank you. Sir.
Nǹkan tí wọ́n ti ń sọ látago méjìlá bí wọ́n bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ rẹ̀ ibi tó parí Yorùbá Gbòde sí. Ẹja fi mọ́lẹ̀ díjọ́ mi.
No, Baba Ajilobi, mostly don't debate lórí because Professor Toyin Falolanu organized that forum, and that attracted a lot of people. I think we were just exploring the historical aspect of the Yorubas, láti educate the and the youth too, because until Obama ìtànlé bàbá kò ní mọ ibi tó ti máa jà ńgbà tán bá dojú ẹ̀rù. So we were talking so much about the historical aspect of the Yoruba, whatever, both the crisis and the all those things, and that's why we were there.
Okay, ẹ ṣeun. I am Professor Omofolabo Ajayi Soyinka. On mute. Gbọ́ yín o, tí on mute o.
Ó tún padà ní mo ti kẹ́ tí ń gbọ́ mi báyìí. Ẹ ṣé púpọ̀. Ẹ má bínú mọ́ láti súré yàbàrá lọ torí mo ní ìpàdé mi gbàtà tí bí mo ṣe sọ fún yín àti gbàtà tí bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe ní Sunday ni mo ti ní permanent conflict kan tó yẹ pé nǹkan kan so mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ so mo tọrọ gáfárà o àárín ibi tí mi ò ti gbọ́ yẹn ṣùgbọ́n ní ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ mo fẹ́ sọ torí Odùọlá ó béèrè nǹkan kan pé kí ni àwọn ọ̀dọ́ lè ṣe kí la fẹ́ kán máa ṣe ń sìn yìí nígbà tí ẹ jẹ́ kí n sọ nígbà tí wọ́n gbé bàbá Sunday Igboho mo kọ ìwé átíkù kan kékeré sínú ìwé ìròyìn kan pé have we been sleeping or that we have missed so many other things. Ìgbà yẹn tí mo fẹ́ sọ ni pé báwo ni wọ́n ṣe lè gbógun ti Sunday Igboho lóru ká má tiẹ̀ ní nǹkan tá a ti fi gbéradì tẹ́lẹ̀ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan ló ti wá ń yọjú ṣùgbọ́n sì bí mo ṣe ń gbọ́ ó tẹ̀ tún wá jù yẹn lọ wípé àṣẹ la ti ń sùn. There is a big gap tí à ń láti fill gap tí àwọn Fúlàní tí wọ́n ti dí tipẹ́tipẹ́ ibi tí a ti ń bá ọ̀rọ̀ yìí bọ̀ ó ti pẹ́ níṣẹ́ ló dàbí pé a ti ń sùn nígbà tí àwọn bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ àwọn even Herbert Macaulay nígbà táwọn yẹn ń ìjà gbàrà ìjọsí láti gbàrà wálẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ àwọn òyìnbó ó dàbí pé àwa tá a wá tẹ̀lé wọn nǹkan míì la kọjú sí nǹkan tá a kọjú sí yẹn ó ṣe pàtàkì o education ṣùgbọ́n lẹ́yìn yẹn la wá ní àwọn ìjọba jagunjagun àtìgbà yẹn ni gbogbo nǹkan ti dàrú tó jẹ́ pé àwọn generation tó tẹ̀lé wa kí ni wọ́n mọ̀ violence corruption massive corruption disruption and just order no democracy. So mo tún kọ kinní kan gbà kan tí mo ní níbo ni àwọn next generation máa wà nígbà táwa ń dàgbà a ní ìtàn pè ní good role models aláwọn Awólọ́wọ̀ aláwọn Zik gbogbo ìgbà ìjà tàdé ń jà fún gbà yẹn mo rò pé nǹkan tó ṣe wá nìyẹn ìjà one Nigeria ni à ń jà fún gbà yẹn nígbà tí Yoruba nation tí ìjà pátá yẹn bẹ̀rẹ̀ ara kọ̀ mí láti darapọ̀ mọ́ òótọ́ ni mo dẹ̀ ń sọ mo nítorí nǹkan tó gbé mi jáde ní Nàìjíríà ìjà pé kí a lè ní ìṣọ̀kan Nàìjíríà ni báwo ni mo ṣe máa sọ wípé Yorùbá nation now ó dàbí pé èèyàn ń da nǹkan rú nǹkan tí ó ti ṣe tẹ́lẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n bí mo ṣe ń dẹ̀ ń fetí sí tí mò ń pẹ̀lú gbogbo àwọn apààyàn àwọn ajínigbé tí ọ̀gágun náà ní ká pé Buhari tí ò lanu ẹ̀ láti sọ̀rọ̀ òun ló jẹ́ kí n wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí fi takuntakun ṣe kínní n tí mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ sọ Yorùbá nation n tí mo wá fẹ́ sọ ni wípé nígbà tí mo sọ pé a ti ní gap kan ó ti pọ̀ jù níṣe ni ká túbọ̀ múra sí iṣẹ́ yìí bá a ṣe ń ṣe lọ ó pín wẹ́lẹ́wẹ́lẹ́ ṣùgbọ́n mo rò pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nínú wa ojú kan náà ibì kan náà là ń lọ Yorùbá nation là ń jà fún so nǹkan tí máa sọ fún àwọn ọ̀dọ́ inú mi dẹ̀ dùn wípé a ti wá ní àwọn ọ̀dọ́ tí ara wọn jágírí tí wọ́n mọ nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ tí wọ́n ń ṣe ìwádìí tí wọ́n dẹ̀ ń ṣe agbára láti dá pọ̀ mọ́ gbogbo nǹkan tá à ń ṣe so nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ sọ fún wọn ni pé bí 2023 bá dé tá a bá tiẹ̀ tí ì rí Yorùbá nation kàn jọ kàn má dákun nǹkan tí wọ́n ń ṣe kàn túbọ̀ máa ṣe iṣẹ́ yẹn lọ pẹ̀lú àwọn tí ó wà ní òkè ọya ní diaspora àti àwọn tí ó wà ní Nàìjíríà àwọn bíi Ọládìran Ọládòkun àti àwọn bíi Dr. Oyinkansola Junaidu I think gbogbo àwọn tán ti sọ̀rọ̀ gbogbo àwọn ọ̀dọ́ tó wà níbí ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ jẹ́ kí kinní yẹn kó máa lọ kí á dẹ̀ máa kọ́ àwọn ọmọ wa àti àwọn ọmọ wa bí ò bá ṣe é ṣe ní 2023 pẹ̀lú iṣẹ́ tá a ti ṣe sílẹ̀ yìí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni a pẹ́ díẹ̀ ká tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n pẹ̀lú education wa àti dí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àlàfo tá a fi sílẹ̀ ńṣe ni ó yẹ ká túbọ̀ á máa ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn lọ. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká wo àwọn àgbàlagbà kan tán wà tó yẹ pé owó ni wọ́n sà ń wá, tán bá ti fi owó dí wọn lẹ́nu kò sí nǹkan tí wọn ò ní sọ tán, ṣùgbọ́n ẹ jẹ́ kí a túbọ̀ máa ṣe iṣẹ́ yìí lọ. Nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ sọ fún àwọn ọ̀dọ́ wa nìyẹn. Ẹ ṣé púpọ̀, inú mi dẹ̀ dùn pẹ̀lú Yorùbá Gbòde, gbogbo iṣẹ́ takuntakun tẹ́ ti ń ṣe látijọ́ yìí. Oòduà á gbè wá o, á jèrè ẹ o, kò ní já sásán o.
Àṣẹ, ẹ ṣé mà, ẹ ṣé mà. Alàgbà Fọlájogún Olúwájánà, ẹ béèrè question. You have opportunity to ask your question now, sir.
Ẹ ṣeun. Mi ní pẹ́ torí mi ní ìbéèrè, ṣùgbọ́n mo kàn fẹ́ fi ìbátèmi náà mọ̀ gba àwọn ọ̀dọ́ wa níyànjú ni. In particular, Mr. Oladokun, you need to keep your contact with the university presidents going. I'll give you just one or two examples. When I was in UI, there was one of the presidents, Banji Ajiloge, àti ọmọ bàbá mo sọ mi ìyáàfin mo fọlá àjà ẹni tó jẹ́ ọmọ bàbá called Banji Adegboro. He and his brother from University of Ife, they shook the country. So things might not be the same then, but now you actually have better advantage with technology. You should be able to contact the universities. You should be able to organize yourself without meeting. And then when you are already with Mr. Akinshi Kutiso, mass mobilization, and when you come out en masse, the government, whether in the state or national, they will be afraid. You shouldn't stop, and you shouldn't be. Unfortunately, when things like this happen, some people might die, which is unfortunate. But even then, before Christianity can take hold, Christ has to die. So we are never going to get the liberation that I need. So
so much has been said, so much has been, heard, so many questions. And our time is fast spent because already now people in Nigeria are already in bed, mostly. I'm just going to give any of our youth opportunity to say exactly what are they expecting now from the elders, from the adults. What do they need? Rino Dwala. Rino. Rino. Okay. Adebalaige.
Hello, ma.
Okay, I'm going to give you the last word from your end. What do you think the youth need from the elders, from the adults?
Thank you very much, ma. I think from the discussion and the ma, one thing I need the mentoring and guidance. And I think but I know she saw from Ibarakba is that I think we are going to continue with the sensitization. We need to know what is happening. We need to know what is going on. We need to equip ourselves with knowledge. So one area that need the assistance, need mentoring, and to help us in our sensitization program. Then the other assistance that need empowerment, the way we can start empowering our Southwest youth. We need another empowerment program for most of our Southwest youth in many areas, including education, entrepreneurship, and different areas. So I want two major areas here, ma, and SARS, our daddies and mommies. If need help, mentoring and empowering us. Eshigoma.
Adúpẹ́. Okay. I don't think I missed anybody, but let me say it here. Now, the intention of Yoruba Gbode is to mentoring. The Baba Deboye, Morawa, you look, I'm sorry, sir. Baba Deboye, go ahead, sir.
Okay, ṣé gbọ́ mi?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Mo dúpẹ́ púpọ̀ fún gbogbo àwọn tó ti sọ̀rọ̀. Mo kàn fẹ́.
Rinu, I am coming to you after Baba Deboye. I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand. Okay.
Yeah. The Yoruba say, ọ̀pá tó bá wà lọ́wọ́ ẹni la fi péjò. In my time in 1960s, at UI, we were demonstrating. By 1963, I already had a scar on my back head. That was available at that time. They didn't kill me. In 1965, we did the same thing after the Western Region election, October 11. If that is not available now, something is available, and that's what other speakers have mentioned. You have the internet, you have the technology to talk to millions of people at the same time, and you don't have to be in the same place. So do research on what you can achieve by just interacting with technology, so that when you have to actually interact in person, you are strategically equipped to avoid danger. But you cannot avoid everything. So you have to, first of all, see how to have a community of spirit using technology. Ayatollah Khomeini used that at the level that it was available at that time and saved the entire state of Iran from abuse. So it's not, if you can't law, you just have to use our brain to see how to do things. As Ladiran said, we are not trying to do anything, we are not going to try to do anything illegal. But there is a whole lot of difference between things that you have to do to protect yourself and things that are illegal. So find a way to think through it. You have better brains than I do, that many of us do. Just put your brains together, use technology to do dialogue and use everybody's wisdom to decide when to come out. And then finally, if you decide to come out and demonstrate the way we used to do, well, there is international press, and let them shout you as you are marching from Ikire to Bagan. They will be marching in parallel with you, and so they'll be able to report what anybody does or fails to do to you. I don't think any government anywhere in the world is interested in being overly x-rayed by the international press.
Just to piggyback on that, on the question of international press, the reason why the struggle has not been thrust into the international rep is because of low participants. You cannot expect these international giants to come and cover your demonstration when you call a demonstration and only 50 people showed up. That's not how it works. When you go out en masse, there is no way that the international press will ignore 1 million people marching, non-violently, if I may add. That is our problem. And that is why the need for us to engage in this sensitization and information passing on to these people is very crucial. You cannot have a demonstration where people are marching and carrying placards. People are going to ignore it. That means they will think you're not serious enough. When you say there are 50 million Yorubas trying or calling for self-determination, you said you are representing 50 million people, and you call a protest, and only 50 people or 25 people show up. I mean, that people are just going to laugh at you and they're going to ignore it. If they send a representative the first time, next time you call such a protest march, it's going to be ignored. That's the fact of life.
Thank you, sir. Rinu, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. You are okay, Rinu. Okay. You still not okay. Unmute yourself. Okay, I am on mute. Yeah. Okay.
So, nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ sọ ni pé at times I realize the extent of or the way this government, the extent that this government can actually go in repressing movements. Mo gbọ́ tí àwọn dádì wa àti mọ́mí wa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa protest and all of that. Even the traditional media, is it 4 days ago that 4 days to 5 days ago, Toshe enters memorial in Lekki Toll Gate. The journalists were actually arrested and harassed by this same very government that we claim to, be in. And this, it shows us, I don't know if many of our daddies and mommies watched the video of the NSAS memorial that happened at the Lekki Toll Gate. And we could see how police were brutalizing protesters, even innocent passerbys, including an Uber driver that was passing. And even after that, the Arise TV reporters that were on ground were also harassed, where the police was trying to take their drones and cameras and all of that. It shows the kind of, repressive government that we are in. And then obviously these strategies that we are talking about needs to change. People have protested. Currently, people are tired. I talked about the fact that people are no longer wanting to vote on the Southeast again. And for my question, I think I still even need some enlightenment. If we're talking about Yoruba Nation, many people are not keyed into the leadership of the movement. And so currently now, what we have is apathy instead of people trying to understand what the movement is all about. People heard about Sunday Go, fine. Who are the leaders currently? I think some of what some of our influential daddies that are in the Zoom as well need to do is to try to coalesce around the leadership of the Yoruba Nation movement. If this is going to be an actual reality, if what we are saying, exactly, that's what I'm trying to say, coalesce around the leadership, let people see, people like this Afenifere and all of that have been talking for about 21 years, come out and take a stand so that young people can actually support these people. And I asked previously that in 2023, are we still going with the Tinubu and Oshibanjo cohorts, or and still asking for change in the next 8 years, or we're actually taking a stand? I think that the current stand that movements are taking, including the IPOB movement and the Yoruba movement, is not strong enough. It's not strong enough for young people to actually rally around. Young people are the strength of Nigeria. There were about over 80 million people, and these people are ready. But then when there is no concrete leadership regarding a movement, how would they be able to support? The only thing they can do currently, which they're doing right now, is to disengage. Young people are no longer engaging in anything. When you ask them to come out to protest, they'll tell you, last year we came out to protest and then people were shot at. The Nigerian government denied everything that happened. And then up to date, there's no justice that's anywhere to be found. So why should people come out and protest again? Why should people decide to get their PVC? What is the next current solution for young people to do? What is the next movement? Who are the leaders of this movement? What are the plans? What are the strategies? This is what young people actually need to know. And Bola talked about sensitization. I think that that's very important. Because also I work in a lot of human rights issues, especially when it has to do with state violence and police brutality issues. And the current pulse when you talk to young people out there is that they are tired. Everybody wants the solution, but then where is the solution? Is the solution clear enough? I know a lot of people were rallying around the Yoruba Nation movement the other day and the other time, and then when it came to the arrest of Sunday Igboho, everybody just got tired and said, well, there's nothing else to do. In 2023, for me, I do not see any hope with this current crop of leaders. But then young people need a rallying point. And I think that's for me, I think that the Nigerians in diaspora have been doing wonderfully and an amazing job. I mean, when Nigerians in diaspora reach out and say, this is what we need to do. So I wonder, why are you even more concerned about the people back home? That shows the extent of amazing job that Nigerians in diaspora are doing. But then we need more rallying points, lobbying with politicians that are abroad that can actually help influence these people. Because a lot of people are suffering back home and a lot of people are tired. So what I just wanted to add to what Bolaige was saying, apart from, the sensitization, is a rallying point. Yoruba leaders, Southwest leaders need to come together and stand. We cannot deal with this current crop of leaders again because they are showing that they do not have anything for young people. So we need a rallying point. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Reno, you said it all. You make a lot of sense. And this is exactly what we are doing. This is where Yoruba Gbode is very passionate about our youth. And we know knowledge is light. Okay, we are talking about the Southwest leaders. They are doing what they have been doing from time in, and I don't know what is going to change them. But we can't change them. But in order to be able to force them of our youth, how do we do it? Our youth need a lot of enlightenment more. Our youth need to come together more because we have seen these people. They don't have nothing for the youth. The youth that they have something for, let me tell you, they are own grandchildren. If you go to their houses, and I'm saying it on a public forum, if you go to their private houses, they have rooms for pounds sterling and for dollars that they are getting from these people. And their own children, they are not suffering. Their own children enjoy all this money and they do all kinds of things with the money. That is why it's very, very difficult to call them, to ask them to be reasonable. They can't be reasonable. They haven't suffering. They are not suffering at all. But other children, other youths that went to university for 4 years, it was supposed to be 4 years. Some parents, they went to cooperative, Bamulelanta, I know about that, so that in 4 years, these children will finish. But guess what? There were strikes, there were protests, professors, they didn't on strike. So at the end of the day, 4 years became 6, 7 years. So do we actually have leaders? Do we really have leaders among the Yoruba people? I don't think we do. So Yoruba will say,
Oloju.
Yes, sir.
Please let me add so that I don't want to read.
Yes, I'm sorry, I was getting too emotional. Go ahead, sir.
No, it's not. You are on the right path, but I just want to remind Reno again what I said. Obviously, some of what we've been saying, I'm not going to say that you are not taking them into consideration. I'm just going to say, I want you, the last time I said, go and think deeply about it, then we interact and answer questions. There is no Yoruba leader. You are, how old are you? You are in your early 20s. So you are saying a 94-year-old man who, even by your own description in Nigeria, is in marriage. And you are saying, we want him to come out, to come and, what's he going to do? Even at this time, I think it will be preposterous for me to come out and say, I'm a Yoruba man, so I'm a Yoruba leader, you come and, we are telling you that the leaders, traditionally in Yoruba land, youth have been leading. They've been leading. Now, we know the problem you have, and that is why you are here. That somebody as knowledgeable as those of you on this platform can help us to transform. If you are well equipped with history.
Yes, exactly. That's where I'm going.
A new leadership if you come out today, if I were in Nigeria, I will be taking orders from you on the inside. But I will say, well, if you say, well, this is where I'm going, well, we started that. I did that with Adeboye in 1960. It did not work, man. So don't we have another? I can tell you that, but you will be out there in front because you are the new people left. 1, 2 is your future. I can't spend it. I cannot stay on earth for the same duration that I have already spent. But by the grace of God, you will be even older than myself. And so the future is for you and your generation. We just want to equip you with history and the knowledge to be able to lead yourself to the next, so that you don't end up as slaves. Stop telling us where are the leaders. Igboho was not a Yoruba leader. Igboho was pissed off with what was going on, and he decided to do something about it. He did not say, well, I am Yoruba leader. Of course, we all rally around him because he brought the message to the masses. What we could not have accomplished within the last few days, he did that within 6 months, and we credit him with that. Igboho was not saying, I am your leader, so rally around me. No. But people will say, well, who are the leader of the Yoruba movement? Is Igboho? No, you didn't even talk. And even Akitoye won't say I am the leader of the next dispensation. But what we are saying, 25 years ago, around that time when Abacha was ready, I said, and I still maintain it, that after the exit of Awolowo, Yoruba cannot crown one leader any longer. And I had a really good reason for saying so. Why are you mentioning Tinubu? Tinubu is just another Yoruba leader. I mean, Yoruba person. And
wow, this is so okay. Network.
What stops? He says he wants to be president. The rest of us say we are not for that. What's he going to do? Force us? No. If, for instance, we're talking about demonstration. Demonstration is not so much of going out. You can refuse to do things. You can refuse to participate in any election. That is also demonstration. They can stay in your house. You can tell people that, okay, on Monday next week, let everybody stay home. No, I mean, even that in the court listing, they did that successfully. We are not saying go out there and get killed. You continue to mobilize and educate. These are the things you can do. And I think I've interacted also with the. If there is anything you want from us, if it's within our power, we'll make it available. Look, if I want you to go to Ibarapa to go and tell some people to stay home, I'm not going to say you don't have transport there. I'm not going to say trek there. If it is those logistics, yeah. But the point we are making here, I don't want us to gloss over it. Education is important. Make call anytime. If I'm sleeping, wake me up. If there's something that needs to be clear to each and every one of you, call me and I'll clarify. We'll back it up with you. Something that is in the open. We know the position the youth are today, the state of hopelessness, either in education, either in a job, there is a direct correlation with the political situation in the country. Some people want to take us back to the 14th century.
Yeah.
And we say, no, Yoruba has always been way ahead of others, even before the colonialists came. And when Awolowo came, he moved the Yoruba development a little further. And then since then, they started attacking him. They put him in jail. They did that. They killed. And we haven't been anything and we say, no, heck with all this, we can do it alone. Yoruba is the single largest ethnic group in Nigeria. Forget about what the statistics they're throwing out, which means we are the largest nation of all the nations that have been combined. Go and find out. And then you have this Hausa. There's nothing like Hausa Fulani. Hausa and Fulani are not the same. The Hausas are indigenous. They are indigenous group, and they are spread all over West Africa. So is the Yoruba. So don't look. Get it, whatever you need to be equipped. We will give you. I mean, equipped. That I mean is not. I'm not going to supply you guns, but knowledge, so that you can now educate yourself. Like I said earlier, we are at a stage now where we are doing the education of our youth. Forget about all these politicians and all those things there. The real politicians died many decades ago in Yoruba land. All you have now are thieves and rogues. And they are nobody's role model. There's no politician that you can point to. They are all thieves. And I say that with every emphasis. Let everybody challenge me. But the point we are saying is, this is the stage we are in. The next stage we will let you know. The stage where you have to disseminate the true history. One, what is going on? That there is a correlation between the states of helplessness and hopelessness among the youth and the politics of the country, which is the politics of dominating, the most vibrant nation in that nation. And as a result, we are saying we are moving out. We want to control our own destiny. Is there anything wrong with that? Even if you are married to an abusive husband, would you at the point say, listen, I am tired of this marriage and I want to move on? Is there anything wrong with that? That is a God-given right. And no one.
Freedom. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And of course,
okay. One second.
And of course, the youth had an advantage that the previous fighters or mass movement advocates do not have. You have technology. That is, the power of technology in mobilizing people is virtually limitless. The only way is to use it effectively to convey to people your thoughts and what you want to do. And you can use it as an effective organizing tool. Never forget that. Always think of that.
Thank you. Okay.
There are any number of things we have to do, not one thing.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we tend to focus just on Yoruba nation itself. So we need youths to outline maybe 20 paths, 25 paths that they have to follow, that they have to see to an end. So then assign the responsibility for one thing. Boya affect kí oúnjẹ wà nílẹ̀ wa tá a fi ní mọ tọrọ, tá a fi ní mọ dúró de tomato láti Kwara àbí láti northern region. Àbí ẹnìkan wò pé education system wa kò péye, nǹkan tí a rò pé yẹ kí a ṣe ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí study ká lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sọ bí pé káwọn ọmọ pass school certificate kí la fẹ́ ṣe pẹ́. We will have to have a number of changes tí a gbọ́dọ̀ effect for Yoruba nation to be real. To affect all of those changes, kì í ṣe pé gbogbo wa la máa bọ́ sórí títì máa demonstrate, because that's not the solution to bá a ṣe máa ní oko tí ó ń wá oúnjẹ fún wa. There are any number, oko ilẹ̀ pọ̀ ní Ìjàrẹ́. So why not buy a 100-acre or let somebody give you an 100-acre farm, tell them Gbado, Gbeshu, and so on and so forth. It's any number of things. It's not going to be easy, my sister and brothers. It's something that you have to use the brains, power, and the technology. The technology let me round up. If you about in Joko, technology, even Jana and Tony Agbara Latiba and Tony Agbara Latishiawu and Tony Agbara Baba Shaso. It will have to be a distributed job among the youth. Torí kanti ní enough wisdom ká jókòó síbi ká rí gbogbo kan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nílé àbí ká lágbára kan ká yẹ kòkó náà nìkan lọ. And then èyí tí ò ṣe é sọ ẹni tẹ́ bá pè ní aṣíwájú tó ṣe bí ẹni tó jẹ́ pọ̀ ní wọ́n dìbò fún tó wọlé tí ò bá ṣe nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ kó ṣe ẹ lọ kí nílé pé alàgbà báyìí la ṣe rí nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ ṣe o báwo lè ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ kì í ṣe pé kó kàn gbé àmàlà sílẹ̀ kẹjá àmàlà kẹ sọ pé ránkà dédé no ẹ ní reason position tẹ́ fi lọ bá nǹkan tí ń ṣe nǹkan tí ò ṣe tí ò bá wá gbà ẹ mọ̀ pé kì í ṣe ni tí ẹ máa wà lẹ́yìn rẹ̀ nìyẹn.
pé kì í ṣe aṣíwájú o bóyá.
So iṣẹ́ yẹn ò rọrùn. I'm not pretending that it's an easy job and nobody should ever represent you.
Bàbá Adébóyè.
Ó wà mí o.
Ẹ ṣeun. Mo fẹ́ mú ìbéèrè méjì sí ká wá papọ̀ kí n sọ ọ̀nà tí Yorùbá Gbòde fẹ́ gbà láti ṣe àwọn iṣẹ́ tí àwọn ojúlówó ọmọ Yorùbá àlejò wa tí wọ́n ti gbé kalẹ̀. Alàgbà Balógun Ọlá Blaze mi mọ̀ bóyá yèyé ni tàbí bàbá ṣùgbọ́n ìṣẹ́jú kan ẹ ní àǹfààní láti béèrè. Ọlá Blaze, Balógun Ọlá Blaze. Ọ̀dà tí mi bá ti gbóhùn yín máa lọ bòmí o. Mo ti tú yín lẹ̀, túra yín lẹ̀.
Balógun ti lọ sókun.
Ok, ó yá Balógun ní ṣókí.
Yes, ẹ ṣé gan, ẹ kúrọ̀lẹ́ gan. Mo kàn fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín fún program tẹ́ gbé kalẹ̀. This is my first time joining this program anyway, because I got this invite from my comrade Oladiran Oladokun. We are both involved in the project he talked about, which is masses. So I just want to appreciate you for bringing this together. Ọlọ́run tó fún yín ní agbára láti ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ yìí kò ní jẹ́ kó rẹ̀yìn. Ẹ ṣé gan.
Ẹ ṣé o, mo dúpẹ́ sà. Mo tún rí alàgbà kan orí fóònù ní Galaxy. Màá mú Galaxy A20, màá mú alàgbà Máyò Gèdèǹgbé lábàá máa kọrin ọjọ́ òní lọ tán. Galaxy A20, ó yá ẹ sọ̀rọ̀. Galaxy A20.
Ẹ gbọ́ ohùn Gèdèǹgbé yẹn kó tó máa pe Galaxy.
Galaxy A20 tẹ́ ẹ bá ó dáa. Galaxy A20 mi ò gbọ́ yín o, ẹ jẹ́ kí n dọ́gbọ́n lọ sọ́dọ̀ ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Professor Máyò Gèdèǹgbé. Professor Máyò Gèdèǹgbé túra.
Yes, ẹ kú ṣé ń gbọ́ mi?
À ń gbọ́ yín.
Yeah, ẹ kú iṣẹ́ o, ẹ kú làákàyè. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn aṣáájú mi tó sọ̀rọ̀, ẹ má bínú. Mo pẹ́ díẹ̀ kí n tó wá sórí ètò yìí. Nǹkan tí mo gbọ́ yìí, ìbéèrè tí mo ní fún àwọn ọ̀dọ́ wa ni wípé ǹjẹ́ ẹ ní strategy fún liberation? Ǹjẹ́ ẹ ti ka àwọn ìwé lórí the dialectics of social change. Ẹ lè rí kàrọ́ náà kó kẹ́dẹ̀ mọ́ àwọn ìjàngbara tó ti ṣẹlẹ̀ káàkiri àgbáyé. Ǹjẹ́ ẹ ti ní ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ lórí world view, differential world view, pàápàá èyí tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà yìí? Ẹ nídìí láti lọ wo bóyá nǹkan tí tó ṣeé ṣe ni àbí tí ò ṣeé ṣe ẹ̀ mọ̀. Tẹ́ bá wọn àwọn world view pé ọ̀ṣun àtòru kẹ́dẹ̀ wá ní coin ní ideology for your struggle tó jẹ́ pé ẹ máa gbé lórí principle yẹn ló máa guide gbogbo ibi tẹ́ ẹ̀ ń lọ. Lẹ́yìn yẹn ẹ mọ̀ pé iṣẹ́ nígbà tẹ́ bá ṣe gbogbo yẹn tán ìgbà yẹn lẹ tó lè force àwọn èèyàn. Yours is to make people conscious. You cannot make them, you won't teach them what to do. If you wake them up through good, well thought and strategy. So ideology is just as simple the way the world should be as opposed to the way it is. Tẹ́ ẹ bá ṣe yẹn, amúkí kan, science ni struggle. Ẹ̀dẹ̀ gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tó ti for other struggles ẹ̀ kọ́gbọ́n bẹ́ẹ̀ ìyẹn lẹ fi máa fọ́ọ̀mù strategy tẹ́ fi máa ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn. Ẹ rí mọ̀ wípé gbogbo nǹkan wọ́n ní bó ṣe rí ní gbogbo yẹn ni pé pẹ̀lẹ́ ni jó òbe o kì í ṣe agbára. Ẹ ṣeun.
Ẹ ṣeun sà, ẹ ṣeun o. Ṣé ẹ okay ó dáa mi ò Galaxy A20 mo sì rọ́wọ́ yín lókè ṣùgbọ́n mi ò Galaxy A20 mi ò gbọ́ yín o. A jẹ́ pé ó di ọjọ́ mi ọjọ́ rinu tí a wá ń lọ ládé yìí a ti rí wípé we have seen that we both need each other. The adults, the young, the youth, especially our vibrant youth that came to the program today, like Rinu Oduala, like David, like Adebola Ige, like Oladiran and Dr. Oyin Kasola Jinadu. We need all of our youth. They are just, samples, representatives. We need all our youth because we believe they are our future.
They are our leaders.
Now they are. Did you hear that, Rino Dwala? They said, so you are now the leaders.
They are leaders.
So where you lead us?
Much from you.
Okay. Yes, sir. So what are we going to do? This is the intention of Yoruba to everybody that are here. And I'm also saying, especially parents, if you are a child or children that is above 18, half of this our vibrant youth, we are going to open up a channel. The youth channel is going to be there with adults, starting from our wise men. What we are going to be doing once a month, if we have knowledge, all these things will be easy. It will be easy for us to that is, that child is just anxious of where we're looking back. It's rushing to where it's going, but there's no rush. Because if we don't take care of the past, if there's something from the past that is holding us just to rush into the future, we are going to be falling. So we need to know what happens. We need to know how to address so many. So enlightenment, our youth, our vibrant, they are the one that is going to enlighten the public for us. It is your duty to help us with the public so they can understand, so they can know. And we have to get whatever you don't know, it's not your fault. If you don't know it, you don't know it. But when we have a where we can do enlightenment and you can help us to rally enlightenment, we will tell stories, histories in all facets of life, the past that has happened. This will propel our future in a nice way. So I'm very, very grateful, Renu, for being here again. Thank you so much. Our prayer is you will continue to live in good wealth and a brain which is more Adebola Ige, that all remind us of Uncle Bola's name. Bola Ige, thank you so much for being here. Adebola, are you still here? Yeah, I can see you here, but unmute yourself. Jinadu lohun lo because I don't know whether. Adebola, unmute yourself. Okay. So I'm very grateful. So we have job to do. I'm going to be contacting you. I hope you won't be tired of me. So I'm going to be contacting you again. And the next one that we are going to do is going to be very critical. It's going to be at the time when all of you have the time, going to face these so-called Southwest leaders on Yoruba Gbode. The youths are coming to ask them questions. And we will just be watching. The questions that you are asking us that we can't answer, we will ask them. They will come on public forum to answer your questions. After that, we are going to establish a date. We're going to be doing public enlightenment. So I'm very, very grateful that you have been here all this time. We spent almost 3 hours and we are very, very grateful. So at this point, we are going to be rounding up the program. I'm grateful on behalf of Yoruba Gbode team. I'm very grateful on behalf of our wise men and the women on Yoruba Gbode. I'm very grateful to you on behalf of our race, Odua, the very, very big Yoruba race. I'm very, very grateful that you have honored us by coming. So the next one, we will invite the Southwest leaders to come and talk, and they must talk. We will come and they will answer. So on this note, I would like to thank everybody that has participated in this edition of Yoruba Gbode. I'm also taking this opportunity to thank Dr. Bolanle Bello. He is a grateful man. Thank you so much. And I'm also opportunity to invite, to appeal to all other people, please donate to Yoruba Gbode. We have big plans. We are moving and we want you to move with us. Thank you so much. On behalf of everybody, before I go, as a class where we teach our children to speak Yoruba, and they're speaking great. please call Yoruba Gbode number so you can be part of that. And parents, please make sure that you encourage your children to learn Yoruba language. It's very, very important. I'm very grateful to Baba Banji Ayiloge as usual, Baba Adeniran Kishiku, and Yeye Omofolabo Ajayi Soyinka, and all trying to be with us. Thank you so much. If for any reason you don't receive the invitation, same thing that is the same link that we use, the same meeting ID and the same link. Join us next week when we'll be bringing you another edition of Yoruba Gbode that we teach and make you laugh also. So like I always say it in Yoruba, ẹni tó fúnni lówó kò fẹ́ kí ebi ó pani, ẹni tó fúnni nímọ̀ kò fẹ́ ká rìn lókun, ẹni tó fúnni lọ́mọ kò fẹ́ ká jàjẹrun. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yèyé mi o, Egbinọlá Adékúnbí Àtúnwẹ̀dù tó kọ́ mi láṣàmúdìrì àṣà, ibi tó bá wà ilẹ̀ rẹ̀ ni. Next week, by the grace of God, we are going to meet again. Thank you, everybody. Ire o.